this thing where he was coming out of an interview on a radio show, right? And while he was doing this, he was trying to taunt this guy. It was Henry Rollins, right? Henry Rollins is coming in. It's like first thing in the morning, right? Like 9 o'clock in the morning. Henry Rollins is coming in to do this thing, and he's after David Lee Roth, and he comes in and he's like, um, and David Lee Roth comes up wearing this like really nice, long trench coat. That's what reminded me of it when you were talking about that. And he looks at Henry Rollins. Henry Rollins is a straight laced guy. Doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do drugs. And
Me neither.
yet Roth just opens up his coat. He's like, "Hey man, you want a drink?" And inside it, he's got just slings built in that are holding cans of beer. And Henry Rollins is
Yo,
like, "No, no, I don't need to do that. Yeah, it's fine. It's first thing in the morning. No, I'm not doing that." And
if you're
Well, he didn't have
Roth
to come
just,
on my show later that day.
yeah, he
It's
just looks
drinking,
at him.
beginning to drink early in the morning is exactly what you should do if you have to be on my show at 9:30 at night.
But yeah, David Lee Roth looks at Henry Rollins, and apparently he didn't know his reputation. Like Henry Rollins is known for not being a drinker. Like
Hmm.
he's a straight edge dude. And he just looks at him. He's like, "What's the matter? You got school tomorrow?" Uh, Sorry, it just the idea that
No, I
David
get
Lee
it.
Roth, yeah, that
Yeah.
he's taunting Henry Rollins, who's this notorious tough guy. He just shames him for not drinking.
That's
No,
pretty
I mean,
Uh,
good.
you can relate, honestly. I do that often, actually. Apparently I have some alcoholics in my stream, and I'm like, okay, if you have to. Just want to remind you where you are. I'm a bad
yeah,
influence, though. But we are live, and I would like to welcome everybody to Bad Science Sunday, where we take a comedic approach to debunking science misinformation on the internet. Today, we're going to do bad. What do you call it? Philosophy, I guess. We're just going to shit on Darth Dawkins, and So
ooh,
again, I don't. One glass of wine a week. Is not bad for your health. Now, if you're an alcoholic, I get it. It probably is, but yeah, you've been warned. I don't know how marijuana is for non for dry people, but cannabis is dry. I'm
yeah,
just saying. So dry you can light
and
it on
dry.
fire. It burns. It's awesome. Light it on fire. Spooky Bed here celebrates 11 months of membership. And he says, what are the panel's thoughts about Lemmy? Do you have any idea what Lemmy is, Jeff?
I think Lemmy is from Motorhead, right?
Yep, sure. Do you have any thoughts on Lemmy from Motorhead?
I do not. I was not a Motorhead fan, so yeah.
I vaguely know I know that Motorhead is the thing, and beyond that, I'm stymied. Doc,
Yeah, no, I don't like.
now you move your tomato sauce picture closer to the camera. Is there any reason for that?
Oh no, it has a mind of its own.
Oh, oh, it's
Yeah,
kind of like
it only
one of
moves
those
when nobody's looking
Christmas
at it.
elves, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like it in the middle of the night around 2:30 to 3 a.m. There's this like distant ghostly howling that emanates from it, and then it vibrates really bad, and demonic voices come out. I don't worry about it.
That sounds scary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just like every couple months, I take a dove, crack its neck over it, and it's fine,
I don't.
Okay.
as one does.
I
I
mean,
find
yeah, I usually
my
do that on the solstice, but
my tomato sauces do not require that kind of arcane management. But
Oh, it's technically banana sauce.
oh,
do
oh
you
yeah.
want to explain the picture to the audience? Like they always ask you about it, you've never explained it.
He's not gonna do it.
No, no.
I'm gonna milk
I-
this one.
it's been 2.5 years, Doc.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I've only been leaning into it in the last few months.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so Jeff, what's the elevator pitch?
For this show,
for your channel?
Oh, no, mine is just I'm trying to be a professional nuisance.
Oh, good
Oh, I'm
job.
great at that.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I'm just trying to be a nuisance. There was a story that I heard. It bothers me quite a bit, because it came from what's his face, Russell Brand.
Hmm.
It was
Oh
Russell
God.
Brand and Eddie Izzard and the Scottish guy. I'm blanking on his name. Campbell. Yeah. And the three of them were doing a stand-up thing together, and they were talking about like what they would do if they had the druthers. What would be their ultimate goal. And Eddie Izzard was like, I want to be a minister of parliament. I want to make a difference. I want to represent, a constituency and represent them in government. And Russell Brand was like, I want to be a guru, which essentially was like, I want to be a
Wow.
grifter, whatever. That's what
Yeah,
essentially what he
yeah.
said. And then Billy Campbell, Scottish comedian, he's like, I want to be a nuisance. I fucking love him. He's like, anybody in power that thinks about my name should, fucking have diarrhea. You know, that was basically his point.
Yeah.
And since then, I was like, I want that job. I want to be a nuisance.
A nuisance. So
A
you
nuisance.
had been shitting on Darth for quite a few years, and then you've recently turned to Doug, Pine
Yeah.
Creek,
Yep.
and more, which is so it's kind of like going from
Uh,
I don't know how you explain Darth. I mean, part of me wants to say it's psychology. Part of me is just like he's a professional nuisance or an asshole, and then Doug, also a professional nuisance and asshole, who went
yeah, but
from anti-apologetics to
yeah.
right wing grifter.
I think where Doug went wrong was that he understands how to dismantle Christian dogmatic apologetics, but he doesn't
Mhm.
understand how to dismantle political dogma.
Well, I mean, it's hard because, like in America right now, the two parties are facts versus fiction.
Yeah,
So if you're going to like, you're pretty much quote unquote triggering the libs by lying to them,
right.
and which great job, genius. That's how you trigger anyone. Like when you look them in the eye and lie to them. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a you know, great formula there. But he's decided that he wants to lie to the left. And a lot of people think that, I don't know. I don't know the extent to which he like believes his own bullshit. A part of me wants to say it doesn't matter, but like
Yeah. I don't
it
get it.
just the way he does it. I don't know. It just seems silly.
Yeah, I'm routinely perplexed by the approaches that he has to current events and politics. But the thing that I like the most about it, it's kind of the same thing that I like about the way Darth Dawkins approaches stuff, is that it is genuinely um, there's something comforting about the fact that you can watch somebody like this gravitate towards either current events or dogma in such a back-assward way, right? Like you just watch them fuck this up, and you can just kind of sit there and just like sort of like lean into it and be like, okay, here we go. We got, with Doug, it's sort of like, MAGA grandpa, trying to deal with the fact that he's gotten suckered in by, um, the the culture war
Hmm.
movement. But with Darth Dawkins, it's that same thing, but the culture war movement is his entire mentality.
Yeah.
It's his whole thing. He's doing the entire thing, and I find that one, I find it kind of refreshing when I hear about it, but I also, when I see it in action, I also think it's kind of fucked up. Like it's disturbing.
Neither of them are like, what do you call it? Serious, right? I'm not going to say that Doug's not a right winger and then Darth's not a Christian, but
Oh, they're both serious. Yeah, no,
right. I mean, no.
yeah.
But like with their grift, like Darth's not trying to have a real conversation. Doug's not trying to have a real conversation.
Hmm.
Like they're both of them are just trying to trigger people or to own the libs for their own self aggrand.
Aggrandizement.
Thank you, God.
That's a hard word to say. No, I'm with you, Maya.
I was like, I see it.
It was actually, it was hard
yeah,
for me to get out.
thank you. Aggrandizement. I'm like, oh my God. One day. Yes, that. Do you disagree with that?
No, I think a lot of the, like what they're trying to do with their like, well, I think part of the problem is that they both believe that they're put upon. They both believe that they're truth tellers, right? That they're actually like, disabusing people of um of notions that, are incorrect. For Darth Dawkins, his take is, whatever reason, he seems to think that like his bullshit angle, his dogma, is something that needs to be accepted if you're going to be a real Christian. Um, Pine Creek Doug seems to be of the position, if you're going to be of this position that comes to like, Christianity, or not Christianity, but America, and like a solid kind of state in terms of, American say ideology, whatever,
Hmm.
for whatever that's worth. He believes he's got a take on that, and I think that's where the two of them meet. They're both not content. Um, they're both Neither one of them are really, you know knowledgeable in either of those fields, and the fact that they continue to do that, is kind of fun in a way, but it's also super aggravating, especially when it goes. Now, the weird thing is that the one thing, the thing that they both have in common, Doug and um, Darth Dawkins are both super sensitive about being wrong about this stuff.
Which is so
And
funny,
yeah,
considering they're only wrong about this stuff.
yeah, yeah, they're only wrong about everything. But the thing that I like the most about, because he blocked me, right?
Wait, which one?
Uh,
Both?
uh, well, yeah, I've been blocked many times by Darth Dawkins, but no,
Doug.
yeah, Doug, yeah, he just recently blocked me. He doesn't want me on his channel. He doesn't want me commenting on any of his shorts. Um,
He even
I
blocked you from his TikTok, right?
well, I don't know about TikTok, but he did block me from his Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, his Discord. Yeah, I was a member of that group, and that fell off. Um,
Oh no.
he he just kind of, I can just go to like Digital Gnosis's
Yeah.
general chat, and he's always in there, trying to pick a
Yeah.
fight with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
that to me was the final, the that was the last straw. Watching Doug, watching the way he treated Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan was a Christian, had
Mm-hmm.
conversations with Doug for many years,
Yeah.
and Nathan credits Doug as being a big influence on why he deconstructed from Christianity. And from what I understand, I think Nathan was kind of a, like a street preacher kind of thing, like he was doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
Like
heard
he
he was
was,
super like conservative
yeah,
Christian. Yeah.
yeah, he was into it. And so they've had lots of conversations about philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
religion, etc. If you watch any of the last few, any videos
Mm-hmm.
from Doug, if he's talking about Nathan,
Mm-hmm.
he might as well be talking about a stranger.
Yeah.
That to me, I watched him do this. He did like a short video where it was like a reaction, and he was just like talking like, oh, Nathan's triggered. Nathan's got the emotions up or whatever. And I was like, dude, you know this kid. You've been talking to this kid for the better part of a decade,
Yeah.
and now you're treating him like a fucking bitch. Like right now, like this is how you behave.
Well, I mean, and it actually was helpful because I'd seen people trying to tell Nathan to cut Doug loose for a while. And I know that he felt kind of grateful to Doug because of like all the conversation. They'd known each other for such a long time. They had a relationship, but like, yeah, they had like a friendship. Um,
Yeah.
and he was just like, no, not ready to do that yet. And then he started to turn on him, and it was like, you know what? I don't think Doug is in Nathan's. I believe Darth is, but I don't believe Doug is still in Nathan's server. I could be wrong.
No, no, I don't think he is. But when I saw that, and the last time Nathan had done a video where he was critical of some of the content that Doug was doing,
Mm-hmm.
Doug came back and just was just snarky and dismissive about it. I'm like, dude, and he's just like, oh, this is what happens when a liberal has too many tears. This is an example of the feel sorry forism that he's
Yeah.
talks about. I'm like, motherfucker, this is a guy you've been talking to this kid for nearly 10 years, and now he's treating him like he's just some other guy
Yeah, like
on.
some guy that called into his TikTok, which
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, you are a fucking psychopath.
yeah,
If you if
100%.
you if you act like that, you are a fucking psycho. That kid considers you a friend, and you said that you were friends with him, and now you are treating him like he's just some other. Like that to me, that was all I needed to
Yeah,
see.
Doug doesn't have
When-
friends.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was just like, yeah, this dude's a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep, anytime I get into any of my content when I'm talking about him, anytime he points out like, I don't understand this. I don't understand. I'm like, yeah, I know you don't understand it because you're a fucking psycho. There's a reason that you don't get this. You're a psychopath, Doug. And there's a reason that guys like, Darth Dawkins don't understand certain things. They're psychos. And I think most of the problem is that especially with like the Christian community was supposed to be slapping people like Darth Dawkins across the face and telling them to shut the fuck up. Like this
I
is
mean,
not.
but
Well,
actually,
they can't
they did
because he
though.
mutes them.
Well, no, kind of, but like, and I've seen so many videos of Christians telling Darth, like, you're not a Christian and you're not helping us preach the love of Christ. You're not
Right.
helping us win souls for Christ. Like, you're just harmful. Like, stop it. And Darth fucking can't because he's a fucking psychopath. That's
Yeah.
not a diagnosis. Just
Yeah.
name calling, but
Yeah.
like, just saying, like,
It's
Yeah.
holy shit. Yeah. And I mean, the same with Doug. It's like, this is the same thing. Like, Doug doesn't have friends, clearly. I think this is shown the community as a whole a lot about Doug, where people thought Doug was their friend, but it is really kind of narcissistic where, they'll do what they need to do to get the emotions that they want to elicit out of you. And, as their mood turns, depends on how they treat you.
It, it
It's just seriously disturbing.
it bothers me quite a bit because one of the things that I don't like.
Again, not
What?
diagnosing, just making a
No. Yeah.
layman's
Right.
observation.
One of the things that I dislike the most about like the kind of like new atheist movement was the idea that the new atheist movement was just out to like basically shred Christians,
Hmm.
right? Which when I deconverted, seemed cool. You know, like I wanted that. But now that I've gotten older and I've been deconverted long enough, I have no issue with people that are theists. I don't. I have nothing against people that believe in theism or believe in that kind of theory. I think even you yourself, you're not an atheist, right?
She's not. I've never heard her identify as a theist, other than the obvious fact that she is a goddess.
Oh, right.
But,
Okay. Yeah. So
so,
she,
but,
she
I,
only she only
uh,
I will
acknowledges one
acknowledge
divinity
that
or
I
another.
am not an atheist.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
But like somebody like Kit,
Hmm.
Dr. Davis, right?
Hmm.
I'm not going to like get up in his shit because he thinks he's inclined to think that there is a potentially higher power responsible for everything that reality is dependent upon. Cool.
does
Don't
he?
care. But what Kit Davis is not going to tell me is that I need to vote for a particular party or
Right.
else
Right.
because that thing's kid showed up as a prophet and told him otherwise. That's the shit. That's where things get different. And whether it's Darth Dawkins or it's somebody like Doug, with Pine Creek, the thing that pisses me off the most, the thing that I think we constantly have to be kicking against, is dogma. It's constantly dogma. It's this weird fan fiction that people think is locked into place, and half the time it's not. Like, it's not a real thing. It's not. That's not something that you need to be concerned about. You can discard that. And the fact that we don't bothers the shit out of me. So, yeah, I think that's where
Well,
I think that's where I get off. Yeah.
Kip
well,
says,
okay.
thanks,
Now that
Jefferson.
Jefferson's gotten off,
Dr. Kip says, thanks, Jeff. Most people just assume that I'm a cold, angry atheist.
I'm a cool.
Um, but I
Oh,
happen to know that Dr. Davis fucking loves the Bible.
that's the
Yeah.
thing. When people ask me about that, like, hey, you as an atheist, why do you read the Bible? I like the Bible. I like biblical studies, but I like them when I'm hearing about them from real scholars like Bart Ehrman or Kip Davis or was it John Davis? He did the I've got his Old Testament textbook. You know, you get that research, you get that depth into it, you get a sense of how those texts work, you get a better appreciation for what the Bible really is. And to me, the only thing that I'm angry about as a former Christian is that I didn't get that from church. And I was in churches with individuals who went to seminaries that were exposed to that stuff and neglected to share that stuff with us. That pisses me off immensely because if they had done that, you would have a richer, more dynamic
Yeah.
take on what the scriptures are talking about, what they're saying. What can we get from them in terms of like, morality and any of this kind of stuff? And idiots like Darth Dawkins. Darth Dawkins is literally trying to do this whole thing where he's trying to tell people that you have to accept Christianity as a narrative. You have to accept it literally. You have to accept it as no. It's you can read it from Genesis to Revelation
In
and
English.
in English, and it makes total sense. And if you have any problems with the narrative or the retconning or any of that kind of stuff, that's on you. You're a fucking idiot. Leave it alone. And that's horseshit. That is not a realistic approach of those books. If you care about the Bible, the books of the Bible, you will read them and appreciate them from the context that you can glean from the critical scholars that have provided this commentary. I really believe that. And any of these assholes that are doing this kind of stuff, all of them are just doing a massive disservice to Christianity in general, Catholicism, whatever. It, all of them, as far as I'm concerned, all of those guys, any guy that does that can shampoo my crotch.
I love that. And I would like
Promise?
to let you know that my mods, all of my mods, love that you use that that phrase now. But we have some housekeeping shit to get rid of. Everybody, I do believe, what do you call it? Al Strucker has gone to bed, but if you see him, today's been his birthday, so a hearty happy birthday, Al Trucker. We love you. Al's our bingo guy. And he has been a member a cultist for 12 months. So to Al and Spooky Bed here.
I do want to actually say, I want to ask something. Is Kip Davis in the live
Kip
chat?
Davis? Yes, he's in the live.
He's here.
If
He's
it,
listening
yeah,
to every word you say.
so I want to say something that I really appreciate. He ended up showing up on Pine Creek's channel, and this was back when who's the Egyptian guy? Um,
Both.
he's an Egyptologist, and he's kind of a sleazy dude. He looks like the bottom of a New York taxi cab. He's just kind of fucking sleazy.
That's
And
Not sure. What does he talk about?
man. Your
um,
descriptors are fantastic.
I know, right?
sorry, yeah, they would be. It's great that they're evocative, but I can't remember the names of the person I'm talking about. It was the guy who was he.
Ron Wyatt or something.
No,
I mean, he did all sorts of crazy shit, and also I don't think I have the name right.
yeah,
Um,
no, he's an Egyptologist, but he poses as kind of a biblical scholar in a
Okay.
lot of this Egyptology stuff, and he had a lot to say
Is it
against
David Falk?
him. That's the
that
one,
sounds.
You were
David
not
Fogg.
talking about David Falk.
David Fogg,
Oh,
and
that's
Dave.
Dr. Kip's favorite grifter.
Right. David Fogg had this thing against Francesca Stavrakopoulos, right?
Okay.
And for whatever fucking reason, Doug of Pine Creek decided to come out and start doing like apologetics for David Fogg for no fucking it made no sense. And he had Kip Davis on his show, and Kip did such an amazing job with him. At one point, Kip just said, he's like, I just think that you're being a shitty apologist at this point. And I was like, yes, yes, he's getting him. Um, but for whatever strange reason, Doug made it out like Kip was woke, and Dan McClellan and Dr. Josh Bowen, they were all woke. They
I mean,
couldn't figure out. They couldn't figure out where,
pretty woke.
where David Falk was going from. Yeah, it was fucking insane. I was like, "What are you talking about, man?"
Sounds
Yeah,
like something Doug would do.
it was
All
great
right,
shit.
we're
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna start this stream. Goddamn, it's been half an hour. But
Good.
I do want to thank Professor Parks, who who's dropping dubs in the chat, and
I let's do it.
Professor Parks for $10 says funding for Tap and the Goddess, a new buddy detective show. Tap is a tech savvy genius who partners with shit talking, no shit talking goddess. They take the cases the man is too afraid to touch.
The man is
The
always
man,
trying to shut us down.
the
They
man.
really are. And it's beginning to irk me because the man is taking away like 100 of my views. And it happens every Thursday, and it's starting to bug me. But apparently, we're not
Can
gonna.
we play Sandstorm by Darude too? So just a.
We could, but then we would get taken down so fast your head would spin, right?
By the
So
man.
Very true. Very true.
So yeah, we're gonna do some shit talking, and I just found a couple of clips of people dunking on Darth. And I know that I know Planet Peterson got into it with Chrissy Hansen a couple of months ago. So again, we're not, and I know he's had some weird takes on some other stuff, as has everyone. So we are not, as with all of our streams, we don't 100% agree with anybody on anything. We're just showing this one stream for a specific purpose. And yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
and you know it's bad when we're actually, instead of doing a video that's directly the person, we're actually doing a video of somebody already dunking on them. Like,
well, you have to, because like you have to with Darth, because like you have to model good behavior, right? You got to show the people how to treat the grifters.
Yeah. All right.
And since you can't get a video of Darth, I mean, you can go into Discord and hear Darth monologuing and kicking bitches out for, he will drone on for hours. It's insane.
He will. Yeah.
But that's not fun. Like, what you want to hear is the back and forth. Like that's what brings all the boys to the yard, right?
Yeah. So this is the title of the video is Darth Dawkins forfeits, which, I mean, he certainly wouldn't acknowledge that if that happens. It's by Planet Peterson. They have a cool 33.8 thousand subscribers, and this video has 33,000 views from 8 months ago.
Yeah, and Darth never rage quits. He had to go because the atheist was so unbearable and was being so dishonest and so unfair to him, and he just had to. Yeah.
I'm surprised you had me up.
Me too, a little bit. You're one of the most insufferable human beings on the planet.
And that's what we call, ladies and gentlemen, a good take. Okay?
That is that's setting up the audience just right.
Yeah, no, like I often give people, I try to give people a fair amount of grace and not just hit the ground running with the insults. Darth Dawkins is a psycho.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You feel that way.
Not a diagnosis, just a fact.
Yeah. It's not a diagnosis.
No, you're not. You do this on purpose.
Okay, so it says debate me if you disagree. I disagree with you. Does your model of reality...
No, what do you disagree with?
Are you going to let me finish?
But if you answer my question, what do you disagree with?
I'm disagreeing with your capacity in your model of reality to make any affirmations and denial that are rationally based, given your model of reality.
Given your model of reality. Oh, right. His not God worldview. Is that where
we're going? He doesn't. He doesn't have a proper metaphysical substrate. Okay, or whatever.
So, in your model of reality, what is it that is ultimate and identifiable that dictates what is and cannot be?
Spanky.
I fucking hate that question. What is ultimate?
I love the answer though.
Yeah, nobody cares. Yeah. Spanky. Yeah.
Spanky. You know what? Yeah. Let's let him. Let him describe Spanky.
So you don't have. An intelligent answer, do you?
So the answer is Spanky.
Spanky is
what
intelligent.
Is that?
Yeah, I mean, it is known.
Spanky is the magical creator of the universe. He's represented as a purple hippopotamus.
Are we going to really do that?
Yeah. Yes, because anybody can
be like,
are we really going to do that? You're just going to make up a god? I mean, do I need to, what
you're setting me up too obviously for that one.
how dare you make up a deity in place of mine? What the fuck?
Right. He knows where he's going with it. And I Skylar Fiction used to have a bit, he was like, I'm gonna make a book of Raptor Jesus, and I'm gonna start he's gonna start making based on his conversations with apologists, just start writing in it, and then so that he could say, no, I have a book here. It is the book of Raptor Jesus, and according to it, your book is wrong. And for whatever the conversation was, just because it's his thing is all gods were made up, and you only think that yours is not made up because somebody wrote a book before you were born, and you were told to adhere to it. So fine, here, I have a book, like.
Right.
Yeah.
But Darth has his book, and
presuppose that a magical being is the grounding of everything, and then just say, herder, if you disagree with me, then I'll just claim my thing is the ultimate rational grounding of everything, and yours isn't. I win. Hold on, Darth. Yeah. I saw.
I'm not gonna lie. So far, Darth has already like shocked me with his level of patience. Like, this is Darth already being way better behaved than he normally is, I feel like.
It depends on the platform, right? So if Darth is somewhere where he has mods or where it is like a Christian friendly server, he'll be
a Darth friendly server.
Yeah.
They're very different concepts.
Very different. Fair enough. He'll pout and throw a fit and either block you or push his mod friend to block you. However, if he's calling into your platform, he's more likely to talk, be agreeable, and he's done this to you too, Jeff, right?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he can be quite sneaky.
I've had one conversation with Darth, and yeah, there was no audience, which is why it took about 30 minutes for his true colors to like show, and it was in a place where he didn't have like mod powers. And also, I'm just like a pretty agreeable guy.
He can disagree with anyone. You should, Jeff, were you the one that showed did you have Dr. Josh talk to him, or did you just show a video where I know I saw it on your channel, but I couldn't remember if that was an actual conversation or if you were just showing it.
Yeah, I just showed it. The way that Dr. Josh dealt with them was completely, like, probably the most appropriate, because he didn't seem to understand, like, Darth didn't seem to understand, like, the level that he was talking to, like, in terms, like, I'm not trying to say like Dr. Josh is some like, brainiac, supermind or something like that.
He's educated in the topic.
he's educated in the field, so he's going to be a lot more nuanced than what Darth is going to be. And Darth was like, I'll talk to him, and it was a fucking wreck. And I'm like, you guys aren't even going to get off the ground. I'm fairly convinced you guys won't even be able to get off get out of the place of you, like, telling us your name. Like, because Darth Dawkins is that fucking fucked up. Like, he's that fucking, I hate to say this, but like developmentally disabled. Like, he can't do that even without it, turning into a thing. And when I was talking to Dr. Josh about it, he's like, yeah, no, I've talked to him a couple of times, but he's like, for Dr. Josh, he's like, he's just so fucking unpleasant. For him, he was just like, he's just so fucking awful that there's no reason to actually have a conversation with him, because his motivations are so transparently bad. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. So while the rest of us are trying to figure out, like, hey, who can come up with a toxic, with a kick-ass philosophical, rejoinder to like beat this guy.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like Dr. Josh was considered, he's like, I don't give a shit if he's winning or losing. He loses if I don't talk to him. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, I mean, Dr. Josh, he got the bigger dig of that, like, it's like, yeah. I mean, me and my brother are still thinking, like, in terms of like, yeah, I bet I can beat Darth Dawkins at one of these arguments, and Dr. Josh already did it. Hell, I think, I don't know if he's had it, but has Kip had an altercation?
I don't think so. Dr. Kip, if you're still there, have you ever talked to Darth?
Because he'd blow his shit out of the water. Dan McClellan,
mm-hmm.
10 seconds of Dan McClellan explaining dogma in terms of like his cognitive science background would melt Darth Dawkins' mind. It would melt his fucking mind. He couldn't do it.
Hold
It
on,
has
what
nothing.
mind?
So Dr.
Yeah.
Cook does say no, he has not talked to
Okay.
Darth.
I would
Yeah,
pay
which is-
money. I would pay money. If you can arrange that and you can guarantee at least 30 minutes of conversation between you and Darth Dawkins, I will show up. I will give a $100 super chat.
You know what? People have actually offered me that.
Darth has you blocked though, I thought. Everywhere. Like you've got Darth Dawkins derangement syndrome, and
yeah,
you what do you call it? You're not honest, and no one can have a good conversation with you because you're just so deranged.
I'm made out of madness. Blah blah blah. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Personally, I love it. But what I dislike the most about what he does is that when he blocks people like me, he ends up blocking people like Kip Davis and Dan McClellan and Dr. Josh Bowen and Jennifer Bird. Those Christians would benefit greatly from hearing from actors like that, from scholars like this. I feel like I would have been a better Christian, and I would have probably maintained my Christianity if I had heard from scholars like that beforehand. I think that their work is, I think that it's discredited. I think that the way that they do this is discounted. I think that they need to do something better with that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not able to see who got the oh no, that's just because this one isn't. I'm sorry. This one is Jedi. Okay, we'll get to the other one in a minute. Jedi, Left-Handed Jedi has been a cultist for 15 months. Holy shit.
You have got some strange occultists.
No, Jedi, may the fourth be with you. Please enjoy your tapuka weasels, your nitties, and vaginas. Jedi actually has his own, what do you call it? Emote, too. So, because he's such an awesome bitch. Continue with the awesomeness. I approve.
I was
No,
trying
I'm sorry, go ahead.
dismiss it. Yeah.
Play button, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Really short clip. You were a guest in somebody's live the other day, and he brought up there are contradictions in the Bible, and you said, well, you'd have to presuppose that the human mind is the ultimate arbiter of truth or something like that, as opposed to God, because apparently the scriptures are the divine inspiration and work of a God. So if the scripture says something that by all reasonable accounts, human beings with the best methods they could ever come up with figure out is false, it'd still be true because you're just presupposing it's true.
I would love it. I would love it more than anything if Darth were a flat earther. Because it would so clearly demonstrate, like, there are people who give his argument some amount of credence, and it's like, yeah, but what if he thought that the Earth was flat? Like, all of his logic and argumentation would basically be identical.
He's not a flat earther. That I can say.
Yeah.
But he is a what's that?
Young Earth creationist? Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a yick. Yeah. And that enough for me is just like,
you're right. You're correct. But there are people, I was going to say on the planet right now, but the example I'm giving, they're not on the planet. There are people on the space station who can look out the window and disprove the flat Earth in a way that if anybody was next to them looking at the same thing, like you would agree, or say that you were currently like being drugged and hallucinating.
Yeah.
With
Well,
your move, it's
no,
not that
that's
obvious.
it's all just photoshopped. You know this.
It is known.
It's known. Yeah.
Also,
If that-
real quick, for $2, Left-Handed Jedi says, "I'm sorry, my karma ran over your dogma."
I like that one.
That's the case, then I will invent a religion right now, Spankyism. I actually invented it over a year ago. And I'll just say we believe
I love it. Spankyism.
Spanky.
in square circles. And if you disagree, I'll just say, yeah, but your feeble human mind is not the thing that decides what's true. So I'll believe in square circles because I believe in a God that has these properties and it's the grounding for all things, and that's what decides what is true. So my statements and my beliefs that I've presupposed are divinely revealed to me are true, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And that's that's the reason that hardcore presuppositionalism, like what Darth Dawkins subscribes to, is the intellectual bedrock that you finally reach with the shovel of a stupid question.
Exactly. I mean, really, that's about the extent of the whole thing. Like, there's no way around it. And yeah, I appreciate the fact that Maya asked me to be on the show, but the point of presuppositionalism is that it's stupid. That's the point. You know what I mean? The point
Right.
of it is like it's about the contradictions. It's about the conspiracy theory. Without that being there, you don't have to worry about a damn thing. The thing that I love.
And I mean, it's funny. I don't know if you saw the one on Tom Rabbit had Danny talking to, oh God, some kid that Darth really likes, and the kid was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about precept. Like, all of my professors told me that it's stupid. I haven't looked into it very much. Like, it
Right.
sounds dumb. And, Tom is just giggling his ass off in the background. Like, this guy that the Darth just like jacks off to daily, like mentions him all the time.
Oh, is that? Yeah. That philosopher, right?
Yeah.
That Christian philosopher. I think that stuff is like super critical. But the thing that I think is even more critical are voices like yours, Maya, where a woman, rolls up and is just like, yeah, that shit does not make sense. Like,
Oh my God. Yeah. No, you can't be a woman and come and talk to Darth without being called a bitch.
yeah, but the fact that like any pushback
Yeah. Yeah.
from
That's what I'm saying.
you, yeah, because you represent 52% of the planet, your pushback just triggers the fuck out of him.
Oh yeah.
And I think that shit is so funny. Anytime that happens, I'm like, here we go. Oh God. But at the same time, also for the guys out there that are like, oh, I think maybe he's got something to say about this, that, or the other thing. No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Yeah. He's fucking full of shit. Yeah.
For $2 though, my unfinished journey says Hail Nero, Hail Maya, Hail Tap, and Hail Spatch, and down with Darth. Yeah, that's sound advice.
It's weird to hear Hail Spatch. I mean,
Okay,
you know
how
what
do
I mean.
you
As a title, I picked that, because it was a joke. But it's weird.
I love your name.
Thank you.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, haven't you previously gone on record repeatedly claiming that you're an agnostic?
The point is to show that your rhetoric is not special.
Question, please, instead of dodging.
The point is to point out that your rhetoric is not special.
Right now. You're dodging.
It's empty. It's empty, Jeff.
Do you need to get more already? What did you bring to the party, Jeff?
What are you talking about? My glass?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was a tiny, tiny amount of Irish whiskey in there.
Oh
you should
God.
go
Are
get
you
more.
are you dry?
I just asked.
No, I'm dry. Yeah. Well,
Really?
was
You're just gonna raw dog the stream.
I mean,
there,
to be fair, he
there was
does
two
know what's
fingers.
coming. Like he, it's most of the
Okay.
time our
Okay.
guests.
Here's the
Yeah,
Fair
thing.
enough.
like
I didn't want to get like. I mean, I wanted to get relaxed. I didn't want to get like sloshed. I was
Hey,
doing this.
remember
I
that
was
time
doing.
you got splashed and I had to like finish out your stream?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maya
I've
knows.
never done that.
Maya knows what happens when the spatchcock has more, more
Yeah, that was
spatch than he
fun.
should. Yeah, yeah. It gets crazy.
I'm not gonna throw you out there. That was
Yeah.
fun though. Hey, I carried 50 people. I was proud of myself.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
I appreciated it because, I needed that
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask you a legitimate question.
Jay was
So,
not
have you
helpful.
been on not on?
He was not. Not only that, later on, Jay was less than helpful. He was quite critical of my behavior. Quite
You're
critical.
dodging. I just asked you a legitimate question. So, have you been on not on record repeatedly claiming that you're an agnostic?
Yes, that's not the point. The point
Okay,
of
is it
using
true?
the
Is it true?
Gary,
Look,
shut the fuck up.
I want to have a conversation with you instead of you just filibustering.
No, he doesn't.
You are
No, he does not.
No, he
Yeah.
And
doesn't.
I love that he's not even trying to pretend anymore. Like people used to call him Darth, and then Jeff, you would probably know better than me. Like he like accidentally flashed his face, and then it was just all downhill from there. I believe.
It was. He didn't do that. He didn't do that with me. I wish he had. Because that would have been like,
Oh my God,
mm,
yeah.
oh my God, that would have been like
I can't
peak.
remember whose stream it was on, but
Yeah.
it was like literally like a flash of his face, but there was like all these people uh like not screenshot, but like streaming this when you do a screen share or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I do remember when it happened. And yeah, from there it was just like it was nothing for them to get his name and address, and his date of birth is floating around out there. It's insane.
Yeah. I think that anything that bothers him, for me, is always, the same. It's always like a big catch. But, you know, he does his own thing.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
the most
There's nothing.
verbally abusive, controlling, aggressive, grumpy old fuck on the internet. So shut.
Facts. I mean, and you know what I love about this, besides that we need this here.
Yeah.
Why is this the first time anybody's ever said this to him?
To me, the fact that Peterson treats him like this is the best. It's the best aspect of um, Darth Dawkins being on something like TikTok.
Yeah.
If he's on that and he's catching this kind of heat from these
Mm-hmm.
kind of TikTok creators, perfect.
Yeah, I love Darth and TikTok because even the TikTok Christians just like really quickly figured out, like, got his number and we're denouncing him. Like everybody on TikTok hates him. And that happened pretty quickly.
It did, yeah, and I like it
Wow.
quite
I
a
didn't
bit.
know about any of that.
Yeah,
A year
well,
ago.
that's kind of the trick because Darth Dawkins has had kind of he's run a tear. He actually had a YouTube channel. It got blocked because it was too hateful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only way that he's been able to do anything was through like Google Hangouts and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
he would show up on
He
Google
was on
Hangouts.
He was on Clubhouse for a while, wasn't he?
Yep, he was on Clubhouse and he was on all these other peripheral things. And as a weirdo, as a hanger-on, people have been like, "Oh, hey, there you are, Darth." For whatever it's worth. He's just disgusting.
Yeah.
He really is. He's just a disgusting human being. But as he continues to like kind of resonate in these fields, um, people have kind of like gone bended toward that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where he's at now.
What the hell up coming up here like I deserve respect. You don't. You don't deserve anything, Gary, so shut the fuck up. I'm an agnostic atheist. It doesn't matter because it doesn't have to be you versus me on those terms, on that view or whatever, which agnostic atheism isn't even a view. But the point is, yours isn't special. If you can sit up here and through these carefully weaved, loaded questions you have, get to the point where you win the argument according to you, that
Sorry, sometimes in the video, when somebody in the background speaks, it seems like one of you guys are speaking up, and I apologize.
doesn't prove that you are
okay.
right.
No, you know what? And this is good because he's we don't want it to go on too long because I never know how the algorithm is going to feel about that. So this is a great time to remind to showcase my unfinished socks. $2 for don't Darth Dawkins. Like and share the stream.
Yeah.
Don't Darth Dawkins. Like and share the stream. I approve. I can't get it out of my mouth, but I do approve.
Don't Darth Dawkins.
So I once accidentally Darthed an entire Dawkins of banana sauce, and now every time I have banana sauce, it shrieks demonically in the night, and now it's always red, and I can't do anything about it. All right.
So
if you can somehow
verbally bulldoze me, then
yes,
what you're gonna do?
yes, because it's exactly what you do, Darth. Everybody's.
If you've never seen Darth in a room where he has the mute button, it's actually better when he doesn't have it, but when his like sycophants do have it and he's begging for them to use it, that's the like most hilarious time when like in a Darth freak out.
Yeah, because he's usually losing it at that point, and he's trying to figure out like why don't you guys have why don't you have the decorum, why don't you have the sense of civility to mute this to make this stop, because I am defending Western civilization against this. Like, yeah. It's fucking great.
Known this for years. I'm almost done though. I'm like really close to done. Less than 30 seconds. Okay, so if you could, I literally still talking. If you could through your clever rhetoric that you're really good at, get me to a point where I can say, well, I don't know. That doesn't mean that you are right.
Well, the thing about Darth's point is that he rejects I don't know and says, no, you do know, you have a position on things where you're like, I have no idea, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you have a firm position on this.
This is the problem with anybody that is embracing presuppositional apologetics, right? If you embrace a transcendental argument this back assward or a presuppositional apologetic, the way that you end up embracing it is that what you're trying to say is like, hey, y'all have a presupposition or a worldview that doesn't actually conform with reality. And the only way that you can get it to actually work with reality is if if it works with me. The problem with this mentality is that the way that they're actually promoting that, the reason that they have that mentality is because there's only one worldview allowed, the Christian worldview, and we all have it. For whatever reason, these dumb shits keep running this fucking weird ass game, thinking that, oh well, that's the trick. That's how it works. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. There's no reason for us to agree with whatever the fuck that you're talking about in terms of like the end all be all or the end game or whatever. We don't have to do that. What we can agree with is there is a being that created all of reality. And because it created all of reality, it is responsible for that reality. And the only reason that we have any kind of like capacity to understand what it's doing is because that thing gives us some semblance of what we're talking about. That's it. Anything other than that is a different apologetic. And these dipshits do not understand what they're doing. They do not understand it. Like like literally at that point, it's like, nope, 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 nope. And they're like, oh, but your worldview, nope. There's no other worldview possible. Oh, but your idea, no, there's no other ideas possible. No, that's not how that fucking works. It does not work that way. This is how it works. It works this way because there's only one possible worldview, and that worldview makes this all possible. And you know it, and I know it, and Jesus makes it knowable all the way up and down the line. Anything other than that is bullshit. And these stupid morons continue to talk about this like apologetic.
Whoa,
Like
whoa, whoa! No slurs, no slurs.
Oh, sorry. All right. Did I use the word?
Stop doing that.
I shouldn't have said those.
It was the R one.
Hard R, which would get you banned from the chat. So
Yeah,
we
sorry.
do not do that here.
I apologize. These morons continue to use this conversation, right, in a way that makes other people think that, like, you know, what they've actually got on hand is the real deal. And they don't. They don't have it. The problem with this stuff, ultimately, is that you can get a lot of different people to like, you know, feel sorry about this kind of stuff. You can get them to, you know, start to, you know, kind of, you know, condescend and, you know, kind of trick themselves out of this. What they're not going to do, they're not going to understand that the problem with what's happening with dogma, the way that this stuff is being preached, Christians aren't going to stop.
Yeah.
This stuff ends up it ends up becoming like a point of pride amongst you know, religious types. We could talk about this with, like, you know, Dr. Davis, Dr. Bowen, you know, Dr. Bird, Dr. Ehrman. But their stuff's not landing. It's not landing with actual Christians.
Right.
The actual Christians that are landing this shit are out of their goddamn minds. They are out of their minds. And because that they continue to do this shit, you know, we can't get anywhere with them. That to me is the biggest problem with any of this.
Well, I mean, the people that is landing with are these like and so like right wingers that like just want to see death and destruction to all non-cishet white men, Christian white men.
Yeah. To me, and to me, that's the most disturbing thing.
Yeah.
Right. Because the thing for me, when I see that kind of stuff happen amongst white guys, I see that as being a way of channeling white wrath. And what bugs me, especially watching what happens with the presidential election moment, is watching that trickle down to black men. And watching black men and Latino men embrace that culture. And I find that genuinely terrifying. I do not like that shit. Instead of these individuals embracing a relationship with being, you know, caregivers, being providers, being capable, you know, whatever, they are instead doing this shit. And,
Okay. So I am going to say thank you to Left-Handed Jedi for gifting us 5 cult members. Let's see. Whoops. Those went to Mage Grey Wolf, Jessica Monty Lushy, Milwaukee Atheist, friend of the show, DC Dano, and Julie McGuire. And so now we have to address the slur. People are saying that you are not a friend to the ableist community.
I apologize.
You're being ableist. I'm sorry. You're not a friend to the disabled community. God.
No.
Sorry. Forgive me for that mess up. You have to apologize.
I apologize. I should not use that term.
Ever. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I can give a reason for why that is easier, for it to come up. That's not an excuse or a reason. So no, I apologize. There's no reason for that. There's no excuse. So I should not use that term. I apologize.
Okay, let's go.
So instead, the point of pointing out how your the structure, your belief system, your presuppositions aren't special and can't allow you to do anything other than win arguments, then I just invent a different kind of presupposition that you have no hope in defeating. And what it's supposed to do, what it does is it makes people who know how to think realize that there's nothing special here.
Okay, so from here on out, can we have a conversation instead of you verbally bulldozing over me?
The audacity. The audacity of this man.
Well, we can try.
Or are you afraid to have a conversation with me?
I'm not afraid of you, Gary.
Okay, good. So then we can have a conversation here out instead of you muting my microphone and verbally bulldozing over me?
We'll see. I don't like you. Nobody likes you, so I'm not going to treat you with the respect that you think you deserve.
I gotta say, Tapioca, I like the fact that, like, even in the first clip, you were already laughing because he was already on thin ground. Like this is not a thing.
I find it wild. I find this guy wild, absolutely wild. That he comes. Yes, it's. He's not on thin ground. He's like. You ever see the movie The Core?
The Core?
Yeah, The Core.
What's it about?
So the something they for mysterious reasons that are plot relevant later in the film, the Earth's core stops rotating, and that has disastrous consequences. And they have to go on a bad science movie, mission in this like ship that they build that gets stronger the more pressure there is and whatnot, and they have to go down into the core and they have to restart the core.
This is one of your favorite films, right?
It is my favorite bad science film. So, like, when we say he's on thin ice, like, the water table is way up here, and this guy's down trying to, like, detonate nukes to restart the planet. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That was my. But thank you for asking me about The Core. It's a great bad science movie.
Yeah. No. I'm genuinely. I'm always interested to hear about, like, the tastes of the people that I'm talking with. In fact.
Right. And how did that? Wait. Can you tie these two things together?
Yeah. My point was that so walking, like, when Spatchcock said that Darth is walking on thin ice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the water table is way up here. Okay, like
gotcha.
The ice is gone. He's way below the ice.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because you don't deserve any.
So, you said you're an agnostic atheist.
Yep.
So when you use the word atheist, what does that mean?
It means I don't believe in any gods.
Okay. So Are you affirming that God does not exist, or that
Nope.
you're just merely suspending
God could
judgment?
exist. I just have no idea if it exists, and I have no idea. For all I know, there's like 7 gods or something like that. I have no idea.
Ooh.
This is going to be a problem for Darth.
Yeah, it will. It will. Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't like
Absolutely.
to talk to people who don't, who aren't just like, no gods,
Yep.
are possible and da 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 da, which is weird because it's not a position that most atheists hold. Now there are, clearly there are a lot that do, but what's really interesting to me is how he will take even the agnostic position and like say, no, you do believe that no gods exist, even when people is actually weird. Like years ago, and again, Richard Dawkins, hashtag fuck that guy. I listened to a thing with him and Darth, and he kept telling him, I'm not saying that no gods exist. I'm saying I have not seen evidence. And Darth just keeps going back, like, no, your position is, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, but also, Team OMB, woefully dogmatic, chronostatic centrism for $2 says the ISS is suctioned to the inside of the dome.
Oh, I should bring this up now. So it was a project that I unleashed on an AI. I wanted to figure out why this was the case.
Mm-hmm.
Since we were talking about like taste and stuff like that, I asked an AI recently, totally random. I asked this AI, why don't I like the Beatles?
Okay.
And God help me, it's trying to figure it out.
It's trying to help you out.
It's trying to figure it out. It's trying to figure out what.
No, I mean, I understand what it's trying to do. I'm just like trying to wonder what that process would look like. You're derailing the stream, though. We'll talk about that after this. Sure. And then also, I couldn't find it, but also Jillian, petrified miscellany run has been an anti-magnetologist for 5 months. And she says, I cannot afford to give the silence, but so I can't find it, but I do want to say thank you.
Oh, Blessed be he asks, is Jefferson an atheist? No.
How do you identify Jefferson?
Or definitely.
Oh.
Yeah. Depending on how you ask that question.
Blessed be he said she couldn't stick around for very long, but yet that was good,
she
like 40 minutes ago.
She said, is Jefferson an atheist?
Mm-hmm.
I should be like, I am a
atheist. Is that why it's a no? Are you an atheist?
Because she used the wrong.
Yeah. So if I'm asking him, honey, if I ask you, okay, BBH is my roommate. We're getting married. It's great. Anyway, if I ask you if you are an atheist, then
yes.
There we go. See, I was feeling alone up here.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay, so you're suspending judgment. Is that correct?
Basically.
Okay. So that's your claim. So let's see if
it's not a claim.
Okay. No, it is a claim.
It's not a claim. If you're too stupid to understand that, then we can't have a conversation.
Okay, so
the reason it's not a claim is because it's a statement about his internal mind, like, state. For which there is exactly one, like, source of information.
But that's all the information that you need. Everything in that noggin is all you need. Yeah.
Yeah, but God is telling Darth Dawkins that what's inside his noodle.
Yep.
Let's have an adult conversation.
I'm not watching TV. What channel am I watching?
Okay. Now, listen carefully. When you say, I don't know, that is the equivalent of saying, I make no judgment as to the existence or non-existence of God.
It may or may not exist. Yep.
Right. That is a.
So I feel like I would actually technically maybe agree with what that last sentence Darth just said.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like his attitude though.
A claim of
Say
self-identification.
Because he sucks.
non-claim. Okay, well, you're telling me I'm telling you what I don't think.
This is not controversial. Okay, you're making a claim, which is okay.
I'm not
Everybody
making a
makes claims.
claim. I'm telling you what I don't believe. I'm describing
that's
to you
a
something that
claim.
I'm describing to you
claim
something
is
that I
insanity.
don't have.
Can we have a conversation here instead of you doing
Not
the
if
usual
you can
uphill
barely
tactics?
speak English. I'm telling you.
I mean, that's not, you know, I just want to say I appreciate his approach to this conversation a lot.
Yeah. That's where things start to kind of fall apart. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's calling him to task. Like, he's not letting anything go. And that's kind of how you have to handle Darth, where it's just like, I mean, because Darth doesn't let anything go, even like rational statements. I remember like his Leo had a conversation with him, and Leo's like actually trying to talk about like why something makes sense, and because he's using like logic jargon, Darth is like, that doesn't make any sense. He called it gobbledygook, and
Gobbledygook. Yeah.
yeah, and Leo just like laughed at him and ran off. Well, no, he didn't run off. He stayed in the conversation. But I mean, it's like, what do you do? Like, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. You can't possibly know what I'm talking about because you're stupid. What's the point of this whole conversation?
Yeah, I actually think that Leo did the best job with of anybody that I've ever seen.
I don't know if I've seen Leo's.
It's been it's a while ago.
Is it on YouTube somewhere?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
can't remember who did. I don't.
But I mean, if I
might be on
Google
Leo's
Leo-
channel, but I don't think it platformed on Leo's channel.
It's a couple different takes because there were two encounters. Leo, to me, I think represented the best in terms of just because Leo has a way of being very almost belligerently
pedantic,
rational, right?
yes.
Just you know what I mean? Like he's just like
very
he's not.
Very stubborn.
He'll get like semantic with a person, and he'll dig into it. And there are times where I think that it does not work well for him, but to the extent that he gets into it with Darth, oh yeah, no, he just kicks the shit out of him. Yeah, within minutes, like it's just quick. It's just like whap, like just deflecting every question.
Yeah.
No.
Well, and Leo was good because he had studied Darth. He knew all the angles, and he knew, and Darth, I think what's the best he got? I'm 3 times your age.
Yeah.
Cool story, Grandpa. And I'm still mopping the floor with your ass. Next.
Yeah. Yeah, and to do something like that with with Leo, I think he just did a great job with him. The only thing that I bring to the table, the only thing is that I've been watching this guy for the last 10 years. That's it. I've been watching him for 10 years. I've been watching the way that this story works. I've been watching the way these like fucking preceptors keep doing this stuff. And so for me, it's built on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only advantage that I have. There are people like Mark Reed.
Mm-hmm. Mark just came into the chat. Welcome, Mark.
Yeah. Mark Reed, Leo Filius, both those guys are both infinitely better at handling these guys in a conversation.
Yeah, and I know there's been a couple of people who've been pissed at Mark for the type of people that he goes up against, and I go back and forth on it. But I think that at the end of the day, I'm talking. God damn it!
Sorry.
At the end of the day, these people are in their echo chambers fostering this community that aren't going to come out and listen to rational thought or reason. And we need people who are going to pry out. And again, people say that like debates don't work. You never sway the person, and I do agree with that. But I think I know for a fact that debates do work. I've seen them work. And
Yeah.
you have to remember that you're not debating the person. You're trying to reach people in their community. These people that are be in their echo chambers, unless you pry the head asshole out. And for that, I do think people like Mark and Leo, although sometimes when it gets to where like the fuzziness of are you really doing good, you just have to wait for the end result. So I mean, and again, I'm not just talking shit. I've had these conversations with both Mark and Leo. They know how I feel about it. And it's not like they care. They were going to do, what they're going to do anyway. But just me saying, I'm not talking behind their back. They,
I think that's probably the better thing, with me, because I've never had any issues with the way Mark Reed has ever like addressed anybody, other than to say like he's willing to argue with people that I wouldn't have a conversation with. That's my only. I don't really have it. I have no criticism about Mark. I think he's the way that he approaches most of the stuff, I think is really cool. Me and Leo probably would have a little bit of a difference because I think Leo and I tend to get pretty inflamed when we argue about this kind of stuff, and we tend to use language like I used earlier. And that's part of being in that kind of like debate community. It's not really a community; it's more of a more of a fight club. And when it comes to stuff like that, I feel like I'm not trying to throw him in with that. I'm not trying to say that, that's.
I mean, yeah, he's not in it.
No, yeah, exactly. But I as much as I dislike that stuff, I do recognize that stuff has affected me, as I've been involved in this stuff online. So, yeah.
All right. So, Left-Handed Jedi be dropping dubs in the chat. Left-Handed Jedi saying for the swear jar, but to remind Jedi that slurs are not swears and we do not tolerate them here. Moving on.
Okay. I didn't know that it was in response to that.
Moving on.
What I don't have. I know you've heard the non-stamp collector argument before. Somebody who doesn't collect stamps.
I know all this stuff. You don't need to repeat it.
Then why do you bring this up?
Well, what I'm...
Okay, to be fair, this entire conversation is a repeat of like almost every other conversation Darth has ever had. Like when you go into a conversation, when you go into a conversation with Darth, like you can't play the "why are you repeating this" card because you signed up for this. Okay, it's
at the same time, I'm actually kind of surprised that he was letting Peterson talk it.
Right. No, he's been better behaved than normal, like by a lot.
This kind of threw me.
Trying to do is I'm trying to have a conversation with you, and what you're doing is every time when I finish, you just go on into a prolonged monologue to verbally bulldoze over me. So I'm going to ask you, can we have an adult conversation? Yes or no?
We'll see. But like I said, you're the most insufferable person on the internet, so you're going to get what you deserve.
Being rude.
That might be the truth.
I mean, it's absolutely the truth. Facts on the ground, it doesn't contribute to having a productive conversation, but you're never going to with this man.
Yeah. And he's calling him out. He's calling him out in probably the most productive way. It's like, hey, you are not a productive person to talk to. That's how this works.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah.
You're being obnoxious. You're trying to antagonize me. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. I don't know why you're afraid to have a conversation with me.
Afraid?
Are you afraid?
No. If I were afraid, I wouldn't
Okay,
have
then
brought you
let's have
up
a
here.
conversation.
I find
Now,
you annoying and
you're
insufferable, but I'm not scared.
okay. Yeah, well,
Like I
just
don't
mention
yeah, I don't even understand that. Like if you're afraid, what you might do is what do you call it? Block everybody who's ever given you a run for your money so that your sycophants can't see you squirming to get out of their questions, Darth.
Yeah, you'd think that would be that would be a line of reason. Hmm.
that a couple times. I get the idea that you don't like me. Now, can we have an adult?
I mean, this is the first time I've ever seen Darth pick up what somebody was putting down. Like, literally, the first time I've seen him learn a thing.
He learned a thing.
Well done.
Or are you afraid to have a conversation?
I've never heard you have an adult conversation, so I guess we'll see. When you talk to Amdir, every time he brought up a problem in your
I will say if my conversation with Darth had only lasted the first 20 minutes of it, maybe even the first 30 minutes of it, then that would count, but it also wouldn't be very memorable.
Yeah.
And one of the big reasons for that, it was him and I were the only two people in this random server. So yeah.
Argument. You call Darth, you call people liars and obfuscators whenever they say something that doesn't fit your pre-scripted narrative, your loaded yes or no questions.
Okay. So are you going to finish filibustering, and so we can have our conversation about your belief?
What do I believe in?
Or are you just going to continue to dodge? You told me you're an agnostic atheist. So what I'm trying to say
I don't believe in anything.
This guy was totally reading chat or something for that moment, and had to. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Your position. You're representing your.
The reason I put that in there was because technically, for fair use, you have to comment on also this part of the
position that you are neither affirming nor.
Technically for fair use, if you're going to use a video like this to provide Darth Dawkins words, that would be a kind of a rehash of the purpose of the original video, which is to do a similar thing. So if you also then comment and critique how Planet Peterson is actually responding to Darth.
I think we've been doing that though.
Yeah. I was not actually. I was making I was trying to make a joke, but I'm not very funny.
Okay. No, that is true.
Sorry.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, I think we're critiquing the conversation, not just trying to get to Darth's parts. Because again, Darth is just a master at crashing and burning a conversation. So
yeah.
I really want to showcase how horrible he is, and two, I don't know that there's a productive way to engage with him, but I think this is a good example of, and we have another video after this, and I think
I'll have to bump up.
I don't know why it's not on 1.25 for the, but probably at 1:45 or I'm sorry, an hour and 45 minutes. We'll go to the other one because the other one's a lot shorter too. It's 6 minutes total, but the part where they're interacting is maybe 3 or 4 max.
Nor denying the existence of God, in that you are suspending judgment, right?
Yep, it's a description about a mental state I have. It's not a claim about anything other than that.
It is a claim that one suspends judgment. Okay? You're giving me a claim about your mental state. Yeah. Your claim about your mental
and
nope
state is that you're suspending judgment, right?
My claim is I don't know.
And the thing about the I don't know it's really hard to prove that somebody knows something that they're claiming not to know.
If ontology and epistemology are that inextricably linked, the end result is not that, if you don't accept Christianity, you can't make sense of the world around you. If you can't make sense of the world around you, it's because the world around you has ceased to exist. all of it is inextricably, like you've reduced everything down to one thing: God. God is the reason that things make sense. God is the reason that anything exists. God is the reason for your capacity to know anything, and He's the reason for the things that you know. Cool. None of these motherfuckers seem to understand. Like, the reason that that is a powerful argument from Van Til's mindset is that everybody is a Christian already. The problem with it, theologically, is numerous because of general and special revelation, but it doesn't matter. The issue that they should be having is not that, what do we do about this? You don't have to do anything about it. You're saved. The problem with the presuppositional apologetic is that it leads to universalism. Everyone's saved. Everyone has experienced the resolution. Everyone has received the revelation. Everyone's gotten the big picture. That's the problem with that story. And these morons keep walking around with it. I'm like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, from your perspective, you can't do anything and you can't make any judgments unless you borrow from our worldview. There isn't your worldview, according to presuppositionalism. There is one worldview allowed: God's. And that worldview holds for everybody. That's how it works. This idea that, like, what's your worldview? What's that person's worldview? Your worldview is fake. Your worldview doesn't hold. Nope. The point of the presuppositional apologetic is to tell a non-believer that their worldview is the Christian worldview because the Christian worldview is the only one available. It's the only one that works. And all presuppositional apologists fuck that up. They always fuck it up because they always want to say, you out there have this other worldview that doesn't work. No. That's Bonson bullshit. That's Bonson marketing. That's bullshit. The original Van Til was not that. One worldview, only one. You get one. And it comes from God, and everything else descends from that. And if you fuck that up when you talk about it, you fuck up not only the basic traditions of Christianity, but you fuck up the most important one, which is blaspheming against the Holy Spirit. And anybody that's in the Christian, the apologetics cycle should know that is a big fucking deal. You do not want to blaspheme against the Holy Spirit. You don't want to call its work into question, and you don't want to doubt it, and you don't want to consider it a fraud. And yet, those apologists do that all the time. If you want to know, a great example is Rhett and Link, the guys from the YouTube channel. He just deconverted a few years ago. When he was a Christian, he was Rhett and Link. What was their
Rhett and Link?
Rhett and Link, yeah, RHETT.
Yeah, I never heard of that person.
Yeah,
Is it two people?
It was two guys, yeah, and they had this big YouTube channel, and they were kind of a YouTube ministry. And he deconverted. Rhett deconverted before Link did. I think Link also deconverted. These guys were in Campus Crusade, back when they were in college. They were in all that stuff. If you hear them talk about this, so when you listen to Christians talk about Rhett and Link being apostates, they are incapable of understanding the effect of Rhett and Link's efforts and ministry as an effort of the Holy Spirit. They can't justify it. So they either have to, like, Rhett and Link were never truly Christians. Or,
Oh, I'm sorry.
right?
Not to mention, not to what do you call it? Dr. Kip has has franchised from BSS. He's doing bad scripture Saturdays now, and apparently Red is the one in the Alex O'Connor interview that he interviewed in his drug stream last night.
Yeah. Yes.
So, okay,
And
all caught up.
And that guy, Jay, told me that Joel from the Think Institute, who is kind of a half-assed apologist, he clued in on that. He wanted to see, like, what's going on with Rhett and the way he's trying to, like, massage away his evangelical, his apostasy, as he puts it. And it's like, well, it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, it is apostasy. But apostasy to me is one of the most fascinating things about Christianity, because you have to ask Christians, like, that person was a Christian and then isn't one. Explain to me how that works given your understanding of the Holy Spirit. And when you do, don't blaspheme the Holy Spirit when you do it. They can't. They can't. They can't do that.
Right.
It gets fucking strange if they
It's
try to
not
get into
strange.
that.
They're stupid.
Yeah, that to me is one of the most important elements of Christianity. It's like, okay, you're talking about Christianity, you're talking about, like, actual, like, an actual dichotomy, the actual effect of a God influencing your heart, changing your soul, orienting you towards belief, and then it goes away. It goes away. Do you really believe that? The vast majority of these Christians have no idea. They have no fucking idea how to reconcile that. There are texts. There are, amongst, like, the Christian fathers and, Augustine and stuff like that, that wrestle with these ideas. They're not definitive. And, to me, it's I think that stuff is some of the most haunting and the most useful shit that Christians need to glom onto, because most of them are always about, like, you know what? I'm just doing this so that I can get away with it.
Yeah, and hashtag not all Christians. We want to make sure that we're talking about specifically the apologist, or like that.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a really anal strain of evangelicals. I
Yeah.
think most Christians, and again, I know there are a lot of anti-theists here, but we have a couple of Christians in the chat, and a couple of non-atheists, non-Christians in the chat. So I don't want to. I'm very big about not lumping everybody into one ball. Like, nobody's a monolith, right? Except apologists or not apologists, presuppers, for whatever reason, seem to be a monolith. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I think they are, mostly because of the way that they approach trying to galvanize the faith, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's where they usually go wrong. I think Christianity does a much better job if if Christians are, it doesn't matter what denomination that they're in, but if Christianity is a quiet, introspective, kind of I don't want to say passive, but in a way I kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
If it's built on being perspective, and or being uh, ingratiate, this idea of trying to look into yourself, this reflective kind of tendency, that's good. The problem with Christian apologetics is based on trying to get people who already believe in Jesus to believe in him even more with weird tricks and traps.
Yeah,
And
I'm not really yeah, and again, we don't
yeah,
shit on religion here. I'm not, trying to like do anything like that. Um, from like, I know you do something different in your show, but like I do want to talk about just what Darth is doing, not all Christians, because again,
I think
I personally, I'm not an anti-theist. I don't give a fuck what you believe as long as you're not stepping on the rights using whatever you believe,
right.
whether that happens to be, and I know sometimes it's Christianity, sometimes it's Islam or religion in general. Sometimes it's just like blatant misogyny. Sometimes it's just, what do you call it? Nationalism. I don't give a fuck what it is. Personally, I want you to, I want you to think, um, I want you to understand what it is that you're doing. I want you to like think your thought out to its rational conclusion. I want people to know what they think and know why. And that, and that's my major thing. And for Darth, I feel like all he's trying to do is, it feels like all he's trying to do is strip rights, honestly. And that's what bothers me the most about him.
Yeah.
But we did get, and I did just showcase, we have 5 more cult members from Dr. Tapioca Weasel. Those went to Omnidan, Omnivore, God, friend of the show, Palm Dead, My Unfinished Sock, Fern Love Bond, Holy Spackle, a friend of the show. And then also Regios, which is like, man, being totally awesome.
Yeah.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Wait,
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
what?
Dollar, dollar,
Okay.
dollar, dollar.
All right, Reggio's dropped 10 cult members in the chat. That went to Hecklick, Tom, Infallible Fowl, Black Atheist Rants, Luke, H.L. Aristocles, Stosoles. We'll go with that. Stacy C, YouTube me, mod of the show, Holly Unbiblical Egyptian Hegemony Hawk, Carrie Ann Chrysler. So, welcome, new cultists. Please enjoy your tapioca weasels, your nitties, and vaginas. God, I cannot talk today. All right, press the like button before Jefferson starts talking again.
Like
I don't
or
know.
play.
Before the viewers go away.
Is the
Oh, wait.
equivalent
Never mind.
of I suspend judgment as per the 2 propositions, right? So you are saying you are suspending judgment about God's existence or non-existence, right?
That sounds reasonable.
Okay. Now, the problem with that self-identification or claim to suspend judgment, it is contradicted by what you do. And what you do is you invoke propositions by choice without referencing the necessity of God. Propositions, when spoken, will either be spoken with reference to the necessity of God or without.
Says who?
Yeah. No.
Right? Says who? Says Darth.
Yeah.
His Darth.
Why?
Yeah, I
Says
mean,
the law.
he has to. I don't know what is it. His epistologic grounding for all that is fundamental, and I don't know what's his shtick.
That you need
the
a metaphysical and epistemic ultimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that it is, for an like indisputed and obvious fact, it is the Christian worldview, and he knows that through special and general revelation, and
Yeah.
he cannot be wrong about it.
Nope.
Can be.
God revealed it to him. Therefore, law.
Yep.
Of excluded middle. Something's either A or not A. Do you reject?
So
the
this
notion that the
magnet
law
is only a magnet.
Hey now, hold on! I didn't sign up for this. Okay, I did not sign up for. I feel attacked. Magnetism is evil and demonic.
And not something else. If a
Didn't you deal with this on your last stream?
Every stream.
Anti-magnetologist. It's in the name. Did you just hide the names?
Oh yeah. Did I hide them? No.
Well, they went away like briefly
Yeah.
for a moment. You see, I'm putting my chair here to make it easy to read. Anti-magnetologist. It says it right there. Okay, just saying. We are a proud people.
Tapioca does have.
God
He's got a classy.
That's not what I said.
Chair.
So
It's making me feel Yeah, it's making me feel insecure about this, like,
Your T-Jump
Oh,
budget.
chair
this is
there.
a nice,
Yeah,
dude. This
yeah,
is a nice
exactly.
chair. I got
Yeah,
this
no.
like 5 years
No,
ago, and
again, no
The
one
law
is
of
talking
excluded
about
middle,
you.
where
yeah, but he literally was though.
it says something is
Goddamn
either
play
A or
button.
not A, how that applies is we can fill in the value for A. And if we fill in the value for A, it will be necessarily true. Something is either a cat or it is not a cat. Okay? When you invoke propositions, it will either be with reference to the necessity of God or
Yeah.
without.
This is
A
not a
or
true
not A.
dichotomy.
The way he
It's a-
phrased it, I think it sort of technically is, but it's just
It's
not.
a cat or it's a supermarket.
No,
But
no, because like, right, no, yeah, it's either a cat or it's not a cat. It's either God or it's not God. But the thing is that he's hiding in there. It's either my God or it's not God.
Right.
That is not a dichotomy.
That is the key trick. That is the key trick to the whole thing. Because what he wants to do is, like, he wants to push onto you, because this is logically valid, it's also true.
Yes.
And it's like, no, it doesn't matter. Just because it's logically valid, the way that you're arguing that's fine. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's true. It doesn't follow that it's necessarily true.
Mark's coming from my neck.
Yeah. So, old Darth does this quite a bit.
This thing is either what it is or not what it is, not because of a God, but because it either is or is not what it is.
That's not what what you're doing. Is you're trying to segue onto a semi-related rabbit trail. What I'm giving you right now is not controversial at all. When you invoke propositions, let me finish. When you invoke propositions, you are either invoking.
I think that Planet Peterson actually just nailed something that Darth can't deal with.
What?
It is what it is, not because something makes it what it is.
No, you should not go back.
Don't bother going back. But what Darth is arguing is that that thing is what it is because God says it is what it is, which is actually another order of magnitude complicated and a subjective reality. That thing says what it is, and that's how we can know it to be true.
Let me finish. When you invoke propositions, you are either invoking a proposition. Let me ask you this question. When you invoke propositions, do you do so with reference to the necessity of God? Do you do that?
No.
Okay, so when you invoke propositions, you are invoking them without referencing the necessity of God, right?
Yeah?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I don't know exactly what you mean, but it sounds to me like what you're asking me is it possible that this would exist whether or not God exists?
That's not what I'm discussing at this. That's not what I'm discussing at this juncture. Okay, what I'm trying to show is what you do is to invoke propositions without referencing the necessity of God. That
right there, what he just said was a proposition. He is asserting that is what Planet Peterson is doing, and I did not hear the necessity of God baked in. And like, I get that's like kind of a shitty way of responding, but like, I don't know what the hell he means.
Right.
Is my point.
I think it's kind of worded to elicit that kind of response, though.
Yes.
He wants you to be confused, to lull you into either answering badly so he can ridicule you, or to just kind of being like, okay, fine, whatever. And then he has that gotcha, in which case he can ridicule you.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
If I want to...
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Say something about this Dr. Pepper can. I don't invoke the existence of the planet Pluto or other galaxies or you or Mithra or Spanky or God.
I'm not talking about that right now. You see what you're trying
his statement that he's not talking about that right now also did not invoke
to do is you're trying to cloud the point I'm trying to make.
Also did not invoke
by entering into semi-related issues. I understand the tactic. Okay, it's when people are afraid to talk about what I'm presenting, you want to segue onto semi-related issues. Now, When you invoke propositions by choice without referencing the necessity of God, that is an indirect denial of God.
This is like, so like if you parse what Darth is saying, he is the world's biggest atheist. Because he's the only person that accepts this argument, which means that he should apply it to, which means that he's applying it to the things that he says. Right? Like not actually, okay? Like I get that, but he shouldn't.
It's a
Literally
necessary
false.
requirement. Let me explain to you why that's not false, okay? God can be
Did you want to
denied both
switch to the other
directly
video?
and
let it
indirectly.
go.
Do you accept or reject that?
If I was born, so do you think that a fertilized egg is a fully realized human being?
Is it a fully, it depends on what you mean by a fully realized human being.
Well, I'm
You are
asking you what you think. This isn't according to me. This is according to you.
what you're trying to do is...
Gary, we're
trying
not
to
playing this stupid
interfere.
game, so answer the
I'm not
question.
playing-
I mean, you are. Like that's it is exactly what you're doing.
I'm trying to
But
have a
playing
conversation.
are you saying like he's playing the stupid game?
Yeah, if you're having,
like he is. It's just,
if you're having if you're having a conversation with Darth,
yeah, especially if you know who he is before the conversation. Like if it's the first time you ever met the guy, then that's a different type of thing. But that's not what's happening here.
I don't know. I don't know that he's because I think that what he's trying to do is like direct him back to the script. I think that's what he's talking about when he says I'm not playing your stupid game. Like I'm not going back to the script. I am going to milk the ever living fuck out of you for content.
That is a good point. Yeah,
he is. I mean, he is like bad Discord philosophy's biggest lol cow.
Yeah,
Really? Okay.
I mean, who else is?
I've never been in that Discord, so I wouldn't know. But I mean, it stands.
Oh
to
no,
reason.
that's not like a specific Discord. I just mean like
Oh,
all
okay,
of
I
it.
see
Like
what
no,
you're
he like
saying.
roams Discord. Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
There's not a specific one. They don't tend to last that long. Like
when he's in one, yeah.
well, I mean, so there used to be a wiki page,
Mhm.
but now the Godless
wiki
Girl
page is
wiki
gone?
doesn't exist. Yeah, the
Nice.
whole wiki doesn't exist.
Yeah, the wiki,
And that's because of reasons that I'm sure are legion. Anyway,
with you, and what you are doing right now is
and it's going to involve me asking you
Why do keep on
questions
overtalking me?
because
No,
you're in my
you
house,
listen.
bitch. So
fuck yeah,
shut the fuck
that's
up,
right.
okay?
See?
I love it.
You're in my house, bitch. Shut the fuck up. I love this so much.
Dawkins almost never does that. Darth Dawkins.
No, put up
I
with
can't
that.
just-
Oh my God. I've seen him throw a kid fit like it's nobody's business.
Oh yeah.
The fact that Mars said some of the best encounters, the best videos on my channel is the DD encounters.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, especially with somebody like Mark.
Yeah.
Like any time that, like I said, Darth Dawkins has had any conversations with either Mark Reed or Leo.
yeah.
Like they have been just legendarily bad for Darth. Like he's just fucking unprepared to
No,
deal
yeah, and the thing with Mark and Leo, they really, I don't know, they're like a cat playing with a mouse.
Yeah, they're
Like with a
methodical.
wounded mouse.
And
With
they don't get
them.
riled up. Like I get riled
No,
up.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying though about it. Like where
Yeah.
they're just like, I don't know what it is about Mark, but he just has the patience of Job when it comes to these people that most of us would have been like, you know what,
Yeah.
fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, goodbye.
Yeah. My problem, anytime I ever had any direct conversation, I had one, and it was the one that Tom Rabbit turned into a video where Darth Dawkins came into my live stream, at the end of one, and that was the most patient that I was with him. But any other time that I'd ever talked with him, to me it was just like somebody needed to slap this child. Somebody needed to slap him upside the head and knock it off. Knock that shit the fuck off. Stop being a dick. And for whatever reason, he either didn't get enough of that or, whatever. But, yeah.
All right, we're gonna switch videos, but not that we're not listening to you.
Oh.
Just to kind of finish this out, and we're not gonna stay under 2 hours, but we could probably stay under 2:30. There's this other one.
You should have
'Cause
said 2 days.
it's not a dark stream without bringing up Tom Rabbit, right?
Realize.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yes, I think
Do you want me to skip past the
Mm,
intro bit?
For your
Not-
recording,
not-
hey YouTube out there.
no, well,
Tom
well,
Rabbit
stop.
likes-
Well, stop.
That's
right
what I'm
now.
asking.
Don't you just talk over it? We'll just talk over it.
Well, no, because it's really fucking loud. But there's no
Oh.
reason that you. Can you put it up to 1.25? I think that all videos. I mean, that's just going to be my thing. Like, if they should all of them always
Good to know.
for today and evermore should always be on 1.25.
Got it.
to
But,
record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit.
Jesus, man.
Have you ever seen any of the videos of the unimaginable and cataclysmic damage that Mount St. Helens did?
I don't know how that connects.
So real quick, are you like in a hurry to get out of here or something? Because like you like are really like more. Usually, I have to remind you to push the play button, and you're just really gung ho to like hit play. Okay, so
No.
this guy is a TikToker. We were talking about the TikTokers, and Darth. I think this one came out like 3 weeks ago, though. Darth's still been making his rounds around TikTok, and so if you're not familiar with TikTok, what a lot of people will do, or like what Danny does right now, and then Jeff, the guy that you've been showcasing with Doug, Parker, get a job. Like the ways that he finds people, they'll do these things where they'll put, you can't really see it, but his, it's just like, I'm an angry atheist, and God doesn't real, and like all these like crazy things to like lull apologists and evangelicals to interact with them for content. And usually, I mean, you do get the debate bros more often than not. But usually they're up for a chat. They do that like cringy kind of dude bro, like, yeah, I really want to have a conversation, but the Jews, man. And
Sorry. Yeah.
no, so usually it's like that. But Darth obviously doesn't own a mask. So he just goes out balls blazing, and that's what you're going to see here today.
Where's he going?
You're not
You see this? It says, "I'm an angry agnostic atheist." This is like red meat for Darth. Oh man, he's chomping at the bit.
in a position to say that the receding floodwaters on the continent of North America couldn't have carved out the still wet and non-dried out sedimentary materials. It would still be soft material.
So, Danny, you were saying, what if Darth was a flat earther? Oh, wait.
Well,
did
I
you
mean,
just,
he's
like,
talking about
squish
the
your
young
pants
Earth.
right now?
The canyons that are made when all the stuff is wet do not look like the canyons look. This is dumb. It is obviously like it. This is one of those situations where you can't even do the but it kind of looks like that. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that. The only similarity is erosion is a thing. Like that's all. That's all we've got here.
I like his take. It's very scientifically grounded. Yes.
I'm gonna assume you meant my take, because if I don't assume that, I'm going to have a stroke.
No, I wasn't being facetious at all. I was talking about your take. Yeah,
Thank
I wasn't.
you.
Yeah,
Oh God. See,
No, the flat Earth take. Jeff is not on board with that. Just
yeah. I'm
well,
not,
I mean,
no,
he might have been for the memes, like a heart attack on stream. This episode will get views, Maya.
fair.
assuming that the sedimentary materials would have been hardened rock.
Like, I'm not even following that. It's just that if there is like a huge amount of water that is rudging, it's not dodging, man. I'm just having a conversation with you.
This is what somebody who doesn't seem to know what they're in for here.
Literally,
He's just
It's good stuff.
Oh shit! Sorry.
just gonna have a conversation with Darth. Come on, man.
dodge my question.
You're being very angry with me.
No, I get irritated when people respond deceptively and evasively.
I feel like you get angry regardless.
Yeah, there we go. And there's the first critical insight.
I feel like you get angry like right out of the gate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, immediately. He's. Yeah.
Question. You see, even in the midst while I'm talking, you're cutting me off.
I'm trying to raise like clarity.
You're
basically.
trying to interrupt me while I'm pointing out that you're dodging my question. You want to answer my question?
And the thing is, he actually did respond directly to the question, but Darth.
Yeah, people normally do.
Yeah, but no, you're dodging my question, meaning like you're not on my script. We all know what this means.
You're dipping, diving, dodging, and dodging.
You guys don't like somebody who can defend the Christian worldview and stands up to your little devious little tactics. Now I ask you a question.
Really like aggrieved. I'm just
He's
little
like, wow.
Tactics of directly answering my question.
I feel like we should come up with the 5 stages of Darth. Both for like the interlocutor of Darth and the Darth side, like of a conversation. And he's in like stage 3, like realization. Whereas Jeff is firmly in stage 5, resignation.
Oh my God. We found some virgins. The apostate sister says Darth appears to use abusive tactics. Oh, and let's see.
Yeah, and
I've heard the name, but this is my first. She's heard the name, but this is her first official video. So yeah, she's
I have never come into a video this like hard and fast right from the jump against somebody. Ever. And I have no qualms about it, because if you listen to this guy for an hour, which is easy to do and very entertaining,
he is one of my favorites, mostly because like as somebody who's interested in psychology, Darth Dawkins represents like the absolute like worst aspects of like
everything, just mankind in general.
Yeah, sort of toxic masculinity, passive aggressive, tendencies, narcissism, yeah, all that kind of stuff. There's something just so genuinely bad about him. He's such a uniquely terrible person.
Yeah, he's like he's the Tommy Wiseau of apologetics.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you can't look away from it. He's a fucking traffic accident. Like,
except
it's just amazing.
Tommy Wiseau might probably maybe was acting in good faith ish.
He might have been onto something. Yeah. It's a little bit like trying to understand like the works of what's his face? Paul Verhoeven. For RoboCop and Showgirls and all of his movies, even though they're all like basically offensive bullshit, like the way that he was making them, when they asked him, he's like, yeah, they were all comedies. He meant them to all be jokes. He even said that the remake of RoboCop, the one that the Brazilian director did, they asked him like, what did you think about it? And he's like, well, I didn't really like it because it didn't have the same comedy. There was no comedy. It was just super dark. It was all dark and all trauma. And he's like, that's not what the original RoboCop was about. And I'm like,
right.
I'm trying to answer it. I'm here in good faith, man.
Have you ever heard of me talk about the atheist 3D strategy?
I don't think I have. No.
Okay, I say it all the time, virtually every time I stream.
I don't really follow you.
Right. So it's like, have you ever heard me talk about? It's like no,
clearly
I
not.
don't listen to you.
The atheist
Given the way
strategy,
he's reacting.
Yeah, no, and I love this. She's like, no, I don't really follow you. Like,
you just do that to him. Like, yeah, I'm on camera, right? Can you see this? Like, no, yes. I don't know what is the 3D strategy? What are you talking about? Like, what are you doing?
I talk about it all the time. It's like, who are you?
Yeah. If only you knew my ministry. Like,
that's why I'm telling it.
Thank you.
So atheists get confronted by somebody who's competent to refute atheism and defend the Christian worldview. What they do is they dodge and deflect questions and points of matter that are presented.
That's your interpretation.
It
I want
is,
to point out.
it is
Kip-
like
Kip-
he's describing himself, though, right?
Constantly.
Kip Davis just said, "What did someone say? Paul Verhoeven? Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I said Paul Verhoeven. Kip Davis, me. One of my favorite directors. Love Paul Verhoeven. Love the Dutch. Pro Dutch. Yeah.
Okay, what were you saying?
We're done.
Never mind. Were you saying something?
You just don't want to stop.
We're done again. He's done. This time he's
lost
done for real, guys. But this angry agnostic atheist, it's too good for Darth. He can't actually just follow up and just leave. He's got to.
Jesus.
Can't do it.
He's got to keep going.
Stop interrupting me.
You know what? I'm like, this is how a conversation happens, really, man.
Yeah, he doesn't understand how conversations.
You just proved my
He just said goodbye again. Did you hear that? Let's see if he leaves this time.
point. You're doing
One of Kip's favorite directors is Paul Verhoeven. He says, "Yes, mine too." Yeah, he's got the second half of this amulet. Yes, Kismet. Yes, I knew it.
The play button. The play button.
Right now, while I'm talking.
I'm just talking to you, man.
3D strategy right now.
No,
Okay,
that's your interpretation of it.
And then disrupt. You're doing it right now. You're proving my point.
God, you're really shouting at me a lot.
Yeah, I'm raising my voice because I'm exposing you. You're employing
you're
3D
just
strategy.
being,
you.
angry and assuming things are
No,
saying.
I'm raising my voice because I'm exposing you.
Yeah, exactly. I have to yell because you're an asshole.
Right,
Okay, I get it.
Oh,
I get it.
yes.
Time talking with you because you only
You're spending a lot of time talking to me about wasting your time.
Hanging fruit. Okay, so you're
He does like the amount of this man craves getting angry at people that he thinks are wasting his time.
He does. Yeah.
I've never seen somebody like go out and pursue opportunities for him to then complain about his time being wasted more than Darth Dawkins. It's a skill I didn't even know was articulatable.
You know, the thing that I think needs to be brought up, since we're probably getting closer to wrapping this up, but I think it's really important to since you guys do like, you know, science debunking and stuff. Darth Dawkins, his emphasis
we
on
don't do science debunking. Sorry.
Well,
the
you
way
know
you
what I
said
mean.
that was funny.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Moving on.
You know what I mean. Yeah, you know, like you guys usually debunk wooism, you know, stuff like that. This dude contributes an enormous amount to young Earth creationism. Like Darth Dawkins contributes an enormous amount of traffic in you know, trafficking like young Earth creationism, and you know, I don't know, basic young Earth bullshittery. I don't think a lot of people give him credit for that, because I think that, you know, people in our camps, when we've talked to them, we're used to kind of dealing with that crazy, you know, the infuriating, you know, presuppositional apologetic that he's usually giving.
Right.
But but like if you hear like clips from him from from Discord, any of the stuff he's doing on Discord, he's usually peddling just bullshit tactics from you know, young Earth creationist, you know, crap. It's to me it's amazing that he's, you know, doing this stuff. Most of the stuff that I've seen him peddle has been the kind of young Earth creationist apologetics that have been around since like the 80s, and he's still doing it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's very Hovind-esque and Ken Ham-esque and, you know, all the other ones that, you know.
All the other lunch meats. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they, I don't know, they really want science to be a religion. So since religion, you know, has a snapshot in time, science must also. And so it's like you can't ever debunk anything that happened after the 80s. Like, I don't see it. It's not there. I don't know. It's just this weird thing. But I also do want to debunk that we don't debunk shit. And I think that's very unfair to like a lot of our guests who do come on and actually do debunk a lot of shit. Case in point, Kip Davis has debunked a lot of Bible fuckery, as has Dapper Dino, Doc Dino, Dr.
Yes.
Dan. I don't know if Dr. or Professor Parks is still here.
Yes.
But
point
like
was the
we have
semantic one.
debunked a lot of shit.
My point was that technically what he said, and the thing that I was nitpicking was he said we debunk science.
Oh, okay. Science
that was
okay.
yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I hear you. All right, that I agree with.
Yeah,
that was me misspeaking. Like,
exactly. Yeah. Sorry.
Not the first
we
time.
We debunk science deniers.
Yeah.
Not the first time I'm going to have to apologize for saying something.
No, he's very pedantic like that. God, he's just saying anytime he and Leo are together, I'm just like, I'm not gonna.
Oh my God. You should see us. It's sweaty. It's crazy. Physics is hard.
What right now is verbal disruption. You're not allowing me to speak.
Yeah, I don't have to allow you to speak. I mean, I'm just having a conversation with you.
Bye, scumbag.
Do you think he's gonna leave?
That was fun. That's going to be some fun content.
Okay, he left this time. He actually left this time. That is.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, did he? Because like
he
left
that time.
There we go.
But keep going. It's funny.
Dawkins show up, man.
That's what people who like to argue with people on Discord and know what's coming are literally giddy sometimes when they get like a Darth Dawkins encounter in the wild.
No, I know that I know a lot of people who have gone Darth Dawkins hunting for that encounter.
It's like a magic speed bump. You're like that guy. Like
they call it a rite of passage, and I'm
you feel like you've achieved something. You're like, yes, I got it.
Yeah,
I got cussed out by Darth. I don't get it, but let's move on.
Yeah.
Man, Darth for sure is an angry theist. You're right, Bruma. Happy Data 3, if you don't know Darth Dawkins, that was very much a Darth Dawkins experience, yeah. Although it was cool, because that's the thing. Now, that is the fourth exposure to Darth Dawkins that I've had. And the last one, it was basically the same. I just
well, I guess it wasn't. Okay,
just tried to talk about him about a thing, and then he just...
this was time number 4, and you were that surprised by his behavior?
No, I don't think he was. Like, if you think about the entire time he was just laughing, he was like, "Wow, you're so angry."
You're right.
Like, I don't.
You're right, but
he did okay.
I'm gonna lean into what he said.
Just got very angry at me. It's a pity. Actually, for a little while, I had a little fantasy in my head that I would be able to talk to him and like make him understand. You know what? It's like people are just trying to talk.
I never understood this point. I have heard a lot of people
say
point
that
about other people. Like I remember hearing Gutsick Gibbons say that about Kent Hovind, and I was like, "What? Really?
Yeah. Why would you think that?"
What? I've never.
I think Dapper said that about Kent Hovind, but
I understand.
He was one of the first ones to kind of argue with Kent. So I don't know.
I mean, Logic was doing it before Kent got out of jail.
Arguing, well, you can't argue with Kent from jail. So I mean, he was debunking.
Well, you
videos.
can argue with his arguments and his content.
No. I'm talking about actually talking
yes,
to.
Yes,
which is different.
I feel like this might be like an indictment on my own personal character, but I did feel this way initially. That there is a way to construct an argument that will get through Darth's head and will change his mind.
Yeah, it's this all day.
many years ago. Many years ago. Since then, I'm no longer inclined to think of this a thing. But yeah.
So Darth starts alive after this. I want to get to that point.
Oh, that would be great.
And you were making assumptions about what they're doing, and
no, jump ahead a little bit. Yeah, like we're okay. Yeah, there.
Oh, yeah.
Lee, of course, start up his own live so we could talk about how horrible this atheist was.
Okay, we are live. I was just on another atheist stream, and the same old. The atheists dodge, they deflect, they become verbally.
He's in traffic right now. He's still making lives to complain about this guy, Greg.
I can hear the turn signal.
You can hear him operating his car. Yeah,
he's like so mad he couldn't even stop the car. Like I just have to go. Okay, I just have to talk about this angry atheist.
This is a really common thing. People stream from the driver's seat of their vehicle like a
it's in a parking
weird amount of
lot.
time.
Even
then it's weird
agree.
though.
I agree, but
But
you're not like rage
normally they're not
streaming.
operating it.
You're
Yeah.
not rage
Yeah.
streaming, which is worse. So
yeah,
much
it's not-
worse.
It's not good. It's not good.
Oh my god.
It's astonishing.
This is how important it is. It's got to.
Disruptive, and then when you complain about them being disruptive, then they turn and they lie and accuse you of being disruptive. These people are mentally twisted. This is not normal human behavior. They will not dodge, deflect, and disrupt when the questions are easy.
Yeah.
Maya, is this normal human behavior?
How people react to Darth is normal human behavior. How Darth reacts to other human beings, like I'm not diagnosing when I call him a psychopath. He's just fucking crazy.
You can do it.
Oh my god. Not qualified to diagnose psychopaths.
None of us are.
This is a crazy
Right.
motherfucker. Crazy is not a diagnosis.
If we were professionals, then it would be unethical for us to do that. But because we're lay people, we can be like, hey, I've read some articles and I've read some studies, and I'm pretty sure that motherfucker right there is a psycho.
Part of the reason Maya is making that point, though, is that on the scale, she's less of a layperson than we are on the topic of actual psychological,
I mean, I have
stuff.
Well, people know that I have a master's in psychology, so I don't want to, but I'm not a clinician. So I just don't want to, any misconception about how things are coming out of my mouth or,
this is fascinating. Like so if I asked you, do you think I'm out of whack when I call Doug from Pine Creek a psychopath?
She's interacted personally with Doug more, which is one of the things that you need.
No, I am not qualified. She's not qualified.
It's fine. Yeah,
but
we could ask Kip, because Kip, I remember when Kip had that conversation with him when Doug decided to go.
With Doug?
Yeah, back when the David Falk thing, when David Falk went after Francesca Stavrakopoulos, right?
Yeah. I remember that.
Doug had conversations with Kip Davis in the past. He had him on a show, and Kip, I thought, handled him quite well. There was Kip was like, yeah, I think you're just being a shitty apologist.
Yeah, I do remember when that whole thing was going down. It was hard for me to really hey John, love you too.
He says I yelled at Doug. I don't know if he yelled at him. He didn't yell at him in that video, but he was
called him Darth Flowchart a few times. Fair.
he was harsh with him. He said, yeah, he was like, yeah, I just think that you're being because Kip was trying to explain the research behind Stavrakopoulos' book God and Anatomy. And Doug seemed to be like hell bent on defending the fact that she was like some kind of DEI, an affirmative action hire, didn't deserve their shit. The only reason that she was being paid attention to is because she had nice hair, was a lady, and had a large, a chest size.
Yeah. Which is interesting. He's an asshole. All right, so I was going to do this on a separate stream, but the more I think about it, the more I don't know, I might cut this part out and do it and post it as a separate thing. I don't know. We'll see what I do when I wake up. But I don't know. I go back and forth with Sarah on quite a few issues, and I feel her on the whole slur thing. And I don't think it's like what I love about my team here, I guess I don't know. I feel like we are a team. I feel like we are a community, and I love seeing so many people from the LGBT community here that you feel safe in my chat, and I don't ever want that to change. There's going to be actually I think everybody who's been banned has been banned because they were throwing slurs around. And I want to make a distinction between them and then Jefferson. Um, and I'm going to use the transpositions as an example of what to do and what not to do. I have been insanely vocal that we need to have conversations with people, that if people are reachable, that we need to have the conversation and bring them on side. That's if you are mean and nasty and every time somebody makes a mistake you just throw them aside, you're throwing them. There's only two sides. There's two sides. There is the side that is trying to advocate for your rights, and there's the side that is trying to kill you. And I want to get as many people to our side, the side that is advocating for rights, as possible. And I, I was allowed to make mistakes. Especially as it relates to the trans community. I remember, man, back in 2019, asking on stream why trans people were trying to give hormones to kids. And, there were people who came and said, no, it's not like this, it's like that. There were a couple of trans slurs. I didn't know there were slurs. Because the only thing I knew about trans people were from like the 90s, and those terms are out of parlance, or now, or they're not in where civil people would use terms, we'll just say. There's been a lot of misconceptions about trans people that I've made. And, it was people like Jenny, Beck, and I know there are, Stephanie hates me like throwing her in there, but Stephanie, Bree, Dr. Ben, friend of the show. Jenny's a friend of the show. Bree's a friend of, actually all the trans positions are friends of the show. Ember will be on in, I think, 2 weeks. She and Bree have been enormously helpful. And also Jeff, I remember you made a mistake. You, Jeff, made a mistake, and they trans community wasn't like Jeff's evil, Jeff should be thrown out of Jeff's not an ally. They invited you to the trans community transpositions Discord and said, hey, we have a long list of resources that we think you should read, and you availed yourself of that. And I think you're not making similar mistakes that you were in the past or whatever. And I can't remember what it was exactly, even though I was there. But
I'm probably making like new mistakes now.
right, same.
Yeah.
But I think that I bring that up because I don't feel like you're a lost cause. When I think about lost causes, I saw the same people trying to bring Doug back around, and other people that I'm not even going to go there. They're like old and out of the community where they should be. I have a reputation for kicking bad actors. Helping. I'm sorry, not me. It wasn't a me thing. It was a community thing. We are going to own the fact that the bad actors went away. And we are happy about that. I'm just saying.
Are you gonna take grief for having me up?
I did actually. And I'm going to say that I don't think that you're a bad actor. I think that you slipped, and I think that we should treat you the way the community treated me and allow you to come around. We don't. Oh, and Tap. Yeah, I forget about that because you actually have not made your mistakes publicly.
Thanks.
So, yeah, well, I haven't, and I was kind of worried about you for a while. I would say our whole first year, honestly.
He's just sitting in the corner like, yeah, none of this has anything to do with me. I made all my mistakes in private.
I mean, There's one exception to that. I'm not going to go into it because that would be very inappropriate. But sometimes you say things on a stream and you don't realize until somebody asks a question or points out like a fact, and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. And like you didn't like it's
you didn't mean to, and it.
Yeah, and it's like
it's just,
yeah. Did you do the thing like it? You said the word that you intended to say, but you didn't mean the thing that you ended up like communicating. And it's like oh man, I'm so like I've definitely done that. And I don't what I don't think it is like I don't necessarily think it's super helpful. Oh my god, this is actually it's not super helpful to like rehash all the times that it happens.
But I mean it's a learning process, and I agree that. So Sarah's point was that like you're old enough and you should know not to say that, and you didn't know it was slur and da 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 da. And I'm like, a lot of people don't consider it a slur. I don't believe that Jeff. Whoops. Where am I? Okay, hi. I don't believe that Jeff doesn't understand that it's a slur. I think that I don't know. I think you've been drinking and think it not. I don't know. I don't know what to say to like not excuse it.
No,
I want to remind people that we don't use ableist language anywhere because it hurts people. And I know that Jeff didn't mean to hurt people, and I think that he just needs to be reminded, and he's going to go forward and be a better person. I don't think it's something that we need to mercilessly shame him for and try to excommunicate him from the community for.
Well, I mean, even a little merciless shaming might be in order. The reason that this isn't an excuse. The reason that I use that language is because there are people in my life that are part of the LGBT community that they themselves use that language. And so,
no, we're talking about the R slur now.
No, I know the R slur.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they use that kind of casually. So yeah.
I see the argument you're making.
Yeah,
okay,
it's not.
Okay.
That's not an excuse. That's the reason. Like I hear that term, it's there, and so if I get a few drinks in me and get a little worked up, maybe that word comes out and it shouldn't have. So that is not
maybe it shouldn't have.
It should not have.
Maybe it comes out. Is the way I heard it. Sorry.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. It's like a reference.
Gotcha.
But it's not something that I normally use in Well, hell, I mean, even if I use the CS word, cocksucker, I was still guilty about using that one.
And Mark, I hear you. Shame is never useful. I want to remind everybody that shame is the predominant form of socialization in society. People adhere to social norms because they fear shame. So I don't.
Yeah, and I'm not.
I'm back and forth. I know what you mean by that, just because I too can be a pedantic bitch, but I hear you. It's not a tactic that I try to employ often, although
I would rather somebody just say that they are shaming me.
Shame,
Yeah.
Jeff.
No, I mean,
shame.
because
You be shamed.
no, yeah, that's the point. So, and
I mean, it's not the point. It's
well, in a way that it's
in a way it is. It depends on how you view shame. Shame is a very complicated concept. I think that it has good implications and bad implications, and perhaps it should be replaced by simpler concepts that sort of separate those. But it like people who are truly shameless. Trump is truly shameless. It's not a great trait.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, then you're getting into bullying, though, which is
yeah,
a much higher.
exactly.
Yeah, it's much higher form of
Exactly.
shame.
I will give you this. There was, I don't know who it was in the community. I can't remember the username. But she used to be a regular in my chats, and the way that I handled Stephanie, and I think who's the idiot, the crazy loon, um, Jim Bob.
Oh
Jim
God.
Bob was trying to come on my show. Um, there was a back and forth. He was in the chat, I think, like just slurring the whole thing up, right?
Hmm.
And I didn't see what was going on in there, and I ended up making some kind of reference to, or like, hey, you can come into the show and I'll debate you on this kind of thing.
Okay.
And I don't remember who the user was, but after that she was done. She wrote me off,
Hmm.
and she was like, Jeff is not an ally. He's a piece of shit. You know,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, okay, that harsh, but I don't think that she was given as careless as I was
Hmm.
during that show. I don't know that she was entirely unfair, and I don't know who she is. I don't know if she's watching now. Um, that that was probably like the most informative criticism I'd ever gotten from somebody. I wish it had been more thoroughgoing. You know, that's the only thing that bothers me about that. If somebody like writes you off
Hmm.
and cuts you off, you don't get to hear more from them. And
Right.
I would
Yeah,
I
and
would
that's my point. Yeah, to have the
yeah
conversation.
I
Um,
would rather get like, hey, can you explain to me, like,
right.
I'm not asking you to, like, you don't have to like dig in, and this is not like an excuse to like, it's not like permission to just like kick my shit in, but can maybe it is though. Explain to me like I'm five how I fucked this up for you. Like, what did I do? And be brutal.
Yeah,
I think
no,
that
and me too. I usually I less of them just because I appreciate when people okay, first and foremost, you don't owe anybody an explanation. You don't owe anyone your time, or if the best you can do is to walk away, I support that. When I talk about people like Nitty and Mark and Leo who have the conversations, I am admiring the strength and the fortitude it takes to do that, because it's hard for most people. And if you can't have the conversation, it's better to not have it, because you're hurting the cause more than you're helping. Like, just um getting mad and blowing off steam and going off on somebody, it's going to do more harm than good um for the movement, even though it may make you feel better at the time. However, if you can pull it together and have the conversation, this is what happened, it's better not only for the movement, but for you in particular, because you've just won another ally. And
yeah,
that person is then going out and doing, hopefully, you can get them to see your position, and then they're going out and doing the work. Like what I was saying to Ember a few months ago when she was feeling kind of down and out. I was like, I need you to know what you've done to me for me, because I'm a trainer, right? I talk to people about how to allow the elderly to die with death and dignity, and part of that right now is recognizing that we have people in the LGBT community who need to die with death and dignity. And I can, a lot of the things that you're teaching me, I am teaching healthcare workers, and they are imparting into um, our patients. So your words are living vicariously through me and then through everyone that I teach. Um, just states away, and these are things that the ripple effects, like you have no idea how much you affect people all over the world just by having these conversations. So yeah, I want to push for these conversations, and I want to push for grace and mercy, and not giving people a pass, but for having the conversation, allowing them to learn, and allowing them to be better, moving forward. And I don't expect that everybody's going to be 100% perfect going forward. I'm not. I learn every day. Every time I watch the transpositions, every time I watch anything about Mexican Americans, Native Americans, immigrants from anywhere. I learn a lot just listening to people about Canadians and Canadian politics and Aussie politics, and all over the world. And there are just all kinds of things that I don't have the ability to know on my own. I only know it because there are people like everyone in the side chat that are willing to have the conversations, willing to let me into the world so that I can learn more than I have the ability to learn from my little office here. And I want to say thank you to all the streamers, every single streamer, every single content creator in the chat that's ever graced the chat, and everyone who's heard me made a mistake and was merciful to me, and that now considers me to be an ally, because you saw in me that I wanted to be, and you believed in me enough to put your time into me. And that's what I want to leave with. And not, I don't want to be like the right wingers who you have to be our narrow little way, or, we want to, annihilate you, or, things like whatever it is they say. Sorry, it's late. It's over. It's past midnight, so brain's getting kind of weird. But I long after I'm gone, I want my legacy to be that of love. And you guys know that if I believe somebody is a lost cause, I don't hesitate to come out. I don't hesitate to help you toss them out. And I hope that I can have the grace from the community here. And I hope that if there's something I'm missing, that you will DM me or invite me onto your show. I'll take a public ridiculing. I'm, happy to give as much as I take. I'll do either one.
I would be interested to know if I'm considered a lost cause for being a guest on your show.
Bro, yo, if that puts you on that list, then I have blasphemed against the Holy Spirit. Figuratively speaking.
I'm just saying, like, if this causes Maya to catch hell, but if anybody's like, oh, that dude, yeah, I mean, something bad happened a while ago because my viewership took a tanking. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it happens. And I mean, if that's what's going to happen, I'll take it. I'm going to stand by my words because I've been saying this for quite a while. We need to have the conversation. And you don't just write people off. And I don't know how I have a leg to stand on with that if that's what I do to my friends. Jeff, you and I have known each other. I mean, it's been 5+ years.
Yeah. Yeah, we've known each other for a while. And I've been pretty upfront in the fact that I am a complete and total fucking redneck. Like, I am white trash. So, yeah.
You've come a long way. You've come a long way. I've seen you come a long way.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that, I'm going to, like, offend different groups, yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, you're open. I feel like I don't want to put words in your mouth. But I'm just saying what I've seen and what I've heard from you is that you're open to being wrong and to changing how you interact with others in your community.
Yeah. Try to.
So yeah. And I'll I'll stand on that. And if you guys are mad at me, I'm happy to talk to you in the DMs, and I'm happy to come on the show, take public ridicule, and however, whatever you feel is best for the forum. But in the meantime, I'm going to stand by this decision. Jeff?
I think John Papiano said that he can attest to the fact that I'm white trash. John and I have actually met in person, so yeah, he knows.
Oh yeah, he told me. He was so psyched that you were going to be on tonight.
Yeah. He was here about 9 months ago. So he's seen how I live. Yeah. I like Little Debbie's, and I'm complete white trash.
Yeah, try to get the comments on here because I know I'm gonna cut up the show. And I hate that anything you do to the show, what do you call it? Kills the chat. But fuck it. You do what you do. For $2, Stephen Walsh says, "Lost cause." Oh wait, where are we at?
Ooh, this one from Mark Reed. I'm never mad at you, Maya. The goddess cannot be wrong. I'm in this weasel cult until the end.
Well, Mark's gotten, I think, a lot more shit than I have for stuff that he's done and said. So I know he knows where I'm coming from.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. Mark's pissed me off a couple of times, but I think I think it's more of a cultural difference. Aussies live. It's hard to understand bigotry in the U.S. If you've never experienced it for yourself. And then so speaking about that from across any pond, I have going to come off as, what do you call it? Tone deaf. And it's not even just Mark. It's been a lot of people in Europe too. But again, he's open to hearing where he's wrong. So
I tried explaining it to some people that were they were classmates of mine that went to Japan, and they went into the the cult, the country of Japan, not outside the bigger cities, and there you feel like much more of an outsider kind of thing.
Oh, Japan! I heard that Japan, they're really racist.
Yeah, insanely. The racism is really bad. Actually, I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and his coworker, he was from Australia, and his Australian friend was like, "Why doesn't Jeff like it here?" And my friend, his name's Dan, he's like, Jeff has a real problem with the bigotry here. And the Australian guy was like, "Oh, he really keyed in on that quick, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, almost immediately. He hates it." And I'm like, I didn't think that I would, but I really dislike it. And I remember getting back home and somebody was asking me about what that feels like. And I was like, I don't know exactly what it feels like, but I can imagine something worse. I can imagine that, you have that experience in another country, and you can go back to your own country, back home, and then you can get some relief. Now imagine that is your country.
Yep.
That's how they treat you. That's what it's like to be black. And I used that in a speech with made a professor uncomfortable. I was like, that's kind of what it is. And I'm like, so for me, I'm very sensitive to that kind of thing, and I cannot imagine how just crazy making that has to be when you feel that in a country that's supposed to be your home. You don't have a place to go to.
No, actually there's studies on that. How it's the negative effects on the elderly black, let's say elderly, but really 50, which being 45, I'm just like, well, is that old? But I mean, 50 plus years of just constant stress. we see all kinds of adverse health effects on Black people.
Yeah.
It has physical effects that are
Yeah.
seen and have to be treated, and we don't have healthcare that is free at the point of service.
No.
So, there's that. Mark says, Maya, I'm really sorry if I did or said something wrong. You know what, Mark? Me too. Me too. And that's why we're all here today, right? Because we are better than Darth Dawkins. We actually care that the things that we say hurt people, and we don't want that. We want to learn from each other how to be better people. Like, that actually matters to us. And you know what? That's why if there is an actual heaven, we're all getting into it. Or we can actually just all go to hell. It seems like a more fun place, actually.
As long as there's martinis or something, yeah.
I was always wondering that, even as a Christian. It's just like, why? Okay, if we're all banished to hell, why would the demons still torture us? Like, what's the impetus for that? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why. Like, a lot of people just say, "Hey, I'm an annihilationist." However,
Yeah.
if there's a hell, or if there's an afterlife, and we all have to be quote unquote separated from God, I don't understand what the mechanism is that makes that.
I reconciled myself a long time ago that if there is a higher power, if there's any kind of sense to a redemption arc in any of the religions that are out there, then we're all saved. Which means,
right,
basically, I kind of believe in a universalist take. Like,
right.
After we're dead, probably nothing's going to happen. But if anything does, I think it's going to be good. In that case, I think that the best way to approach the afterlife is to
Tap has to go, so we'll wrap up without you. Oh, and I know Omnivore was really excited that you weren't wearing a shirt tonight. So
you mean his?
That is why I wear these dulcet flesh tone colors. Okay, I know.
I was going to ask, why do you have like nude shirts? Like that is impressive.
Yeah, I like, sometimes people want to imagine things and they need a little help. So,
But yeah, I did see your thing. I really don't want to rush a show like this, but I do love kicking you. So
whoa.
Jeff and I will finish up the show. And
bye,